gain from the video, right? So I want you to pay attention because it's the people who get closest to you, the people who are asking you questions about the personal things going on with you, the things that are your triggers. Who was it? Damn. We did a video. Damn it, but I don't remember who the video was of. We were reacting to a video of and in the video, the man was like, tell me what your deep insecurities are. And this was part of the conversation. And I'm like, why does he need to, in the beginning of a relationship, to know what your deep insecurity is? Pay attention. Ladies, this is why I instruct you, right? We are off the air. Dag nabbit. We are off the air. Wow, oh wow, oh wow. We are off the air, but let's see when we come back. Let's see when we come back. Mm, mm, mm. Mm, mm, mm. Mm, mm, mm. Mm, mm, mm. All right, we're back. So listen, this is part of the reason that it's important for you to be on the text notification squad because you know what? YouTube, I'm not even going to say anything. Let me just continue to move forward and just do what it is that we need to do for us. Thank you again to the people on the text notification squad for making sure that you get your text so that you always know what is good in the hood. All right. Let me just go ahead and get reconnected back up to these systems behind the scenes because I was bumped completely off. So maybe it made a new video. So it probably made a new video. Mm, mm, mm. Well, you know what? I probably need to go and get the new link out. That's fine. That's fine. Just we just probably need to get the new link out and then go from there. Right? Um all right. Yeah, so we're back. I'm sorry you all. Let me know if I need to send a new link out or if we're on the same link. Yeah, so I apologize. This is just the way these platforms are behaving now. This is why I say it's important for you to make sure that you know how to get my notifications so that you never miss, so that you're always up on that you're here for the live show, etc. We're back in the building. So let's continue forward. Let's continue forward. Let me know if I need to send out a new link. You know what? Let me check and see if we're on the same link or if we are. Let me refresh. Let me refresh. I'm sorry, you all. Oh, okay. It made a new video for us, right? So we're going to have to do this all over again. Let me send out this link. I'm going to send this link out to Telegram again because I don't want to have to send another text out. But if you're on the text notification squad, I don't know. Do you need a new text? Let me send this out on Telegram. Let me just write, we're back. All right. So here, let me put this through and there we go. We're here, part 2, and I can send out a new text if I need to. Yeah, so why does Mufin have a picture of a black person up when Mufin knows that he is a white man? You see, people play all types of games online. All right, so let me go ahead. I'm going to send out this to the text notification squad because we were on a broadcast just a few moments ago. Let me just write live again. This is look, it costs money every time I send a text. So that's why the text notification squad costs money. So if you want to support the platform and support yourself, join the text notification squad. Let me just go ahead and type hold on here, we're back. Let me put the link there. YouTube bumped us off. And here, let me send this out to everyone in the text notification squad. All right. I have just sent out a new text. Sorry about that. This is just the way things roll. So we're here talking about the Victim Olympics, right? And so the last thing that I was saying on the last broadcast was to beware. You know, you meet a person and they start asking you your deep, dark secrets, and you're like, oh, this person really just wants to get to know me. Some things you need to hold close to the breast, especially if you're still in the process of healing these things. This is why I advocate for trained, licensed psychological care. That's the text going out right there. Thank you all so much. Right. This is why I advocate for it. Okay, so Beauty is saying that she got a text right. Well, I just finished sending out. I just sent the new text just to make sure that everybody has the link, because that's the purpose of the text notification squad, to make sure that you always have the link. All right, so be careful with how much information you're giving up to untrusted sources. This is why it's important for you to do the healing that you need to do with a trusted psychological professional, so that way when you're going out on these dates, because I remember when I was in my 20s, I used to go on these dates and I used to be trying to get free therapy from these men. And they would sit there and they would listen, all right. But it's like I had so much pent up and so much that I wanted to talk about and so much that I wanted to get off of my chest, that when I would go out on these dates, I would open up and talk about all of this stuff with men that I didn't even know. And sometimes I would feel better, but this person is not trained. This person doesn't need that. I need to take care of myself. I need to make sure that I am okay and that I am dateable. There is a delay of a minute and a half, so please just bear with it. That's all that it is. It is what it is, right? It is what it is. So we got to deal with what is, right? So let's deal with what we're being presented with right now. And what we're being presented with right now is a platform that bumped us off because the people on Facebook didn't get bumped off. The Facebook video stays whole. There's something going on YouTube where even my homepage doesn't show my new videos. So this is what I'm saying. You never know when these platforms get geared up to take you off. And I'm okay with that because I have 700 people on my text notification squad that if anything happened to me on any of these platforms, I can always send them a message and we can always go to a new platform or create a new page. I remember when I created the text notification squad, people were laughing at me. They were like, oh, why should I pay for a text? Why should she do that? I remember when I first started getting cash apps, people were like, why? When you could just get the thing through YouTube, right? YouTube takes 45% of that. And at any given moment, when it's time for them to cut you off, you're done. You're finished. Telegram is a platform that when if anything goes wrong, you can port out your contact list. They don't have that on WhatsApp or any other place. I searched a lot of platforms to find one that could do what it is that I needed it to do. And Telegram did that. And my text notification squad does that. So you can join Telegram for free. The link is in the description. You can join the text notification squad because these telephone companies charge money to send you text. So it costs $1.99 a month. So join that, right? Because I honestly, I don't care. If YouTube takes me off, how many of you think that it's going to bother me? How many of you think I'm going to be sitting here cry? I may cry if my old videos I no longer have access to, but I know how to reach you all. There's 700 of you all who have joined the text notification squad. I think it's more than 700 at this point. Let me take a look and see how many people on the list. Actually, it's almost 800. So thank you. This is what I'm saying. In life, we really have to do the things that we need to do to take care of ourselves. And for far too many of us, we are leaving ourselves vulnerable. We are continuing to put ourselves in vulnerable situations. I remember when Kitten Heels was alive, people used to be like, why don't you go on his show? I said, well, why doesn't he come on mine? Why, we can go to a neutral platform and have a discussion, neutral. Because what they want is they want you to go into their den. They want you to go into their lair and they want you to be weak and defenseless. And how much longer do we continue to not take care of ourselves? Part of self love is self care, and self care is protecting yourself. Please, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear that you are sitting up there continuing to come into contact with a person that you are saying is treating you in a way that you do not want to be treated, yet you are continuing to give them free reign access to you. I don't want to hear it. Not me personally. There may be somebody else who would like to blow smoke up your butt, up your buttocks. I'm not that person. That's why I say if you don't like it here, go find the space that you do. I dare anyone to find any comment of mine on anybody's page telling them that I do not like their page. I want you to find it. Make sure it has a verified check mark on it because it's probably not me because I don't get down like that. My time is precious and valuable. Remember I told you all the story in yesterday's video about the multiplayer game that I play online and that girl who was overstepping the bounds, then she got kicked out and then she was like, I'm going to enact vengeance. Then she started killing people from the group, right? She's continuing to go on and on. It's more every day new drama. Now she's hovering around our group, attacking anybody who goes it's the most bizarre thing, but it's like anything to be able to keep in contact. It's like she's so desperate for any of our attention that she's just there now, even if she has to be in relationship with us in tandem with anger and vitriol, and people like, oh, why are you doing this? Like she has turned into the villain. She's going around now attacking, right? So I'm like, people told her over and over again, but instead of chilling, she decided to up the ante. And then once she got kicked out of the group, now she's like, I'm going to enact my vengeance. But if she wanted to be in the group, why didn't she appreciate it when she was in there? It's like there are people out there with all different types of mentality out there. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to open up the phone line. I'm going to open up the phone line. Why not? We're here. We have chair. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Here we go. Phone lines are open 323-488-3149. I am interested in hearing from you. And you know what? I really look, I we you know what the topic is. We're talking about the Victim Olympics and how there is no winner. There are only losers. This is why you have to be careful with your time. Like me, once I am through ASV, absence speak volumes. I don't give you my precious time because rather than spending that time, imagine this person spending hours stalking our group online. And this game, in order to become the level that she has become, it requires a lot of money. Like she is spending all of this money, right? She's not from the US. She's Arabic, right? And I can only imagine that she's probably some lonely housewife with a man who's not paying attention to her. And she has all of this disposable income to build up her army to such a level that she is able to just go around attacking people and squandering resources on these fruitless attacks. And it's like the more outlandish she becomes, the more the people in my group are just like getting brazen. And I'm like, I had to speak up and I'm like, being in connection with us in some way, even if that's through our anger, is probably giving her some form of satisfaction. Because I can guarantee you, if you ask this girl what it is that she wanted, does she want to be back in the group? Probably not, because she didn't appreciate it when she was in there. If she wanted to be a part of the group, why is she now killing people from the group? Is that going to get her what it is that she wants? So it's like, is there someone? Is there, I don't even want to, what's going on here? KKK, Kanye, Balenci in the, oh my goodness, I don't know what we're talking about, but the phone lines are open, 323-488-3149. So it's like, sometimes we have to ask ourselves, what is our end goal? So you're sitting up here on a dating app arguing with a person you don't know. Why? What is the end goal? What is it that you're hoping to accomplish? Are you hoping that you all will skip off happily into the sunset together? No? Well, then what is it that you're hoping for, that you're engaging in this argument with somebody who you don't know? Somebody who owes you nothing, who you owe nothing to, but you're gonna, oh my gosh, YouTube cut out again? Oh my gosh. Please don't tell me it cut out again. Yeah, so it's like somebody's saying, I hope she calls in. I don't know who it is that you're talking about. Asu says, time is precious, life is short, so why waste either of them? Exactly. Shantae says some of these people wear their victimhood like a badge of honor, especially after they created a problem. Then, if the people they've attacked or annoyed respond in kind, then it's a problem. And that is what is the game for? The game is supposed to be for fun, strategy, relaxation. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? What the game is? I've joined the game for strategy and a way to use my mind and to think critically. But there's some people on that. Everybody is that when you start playing with other people, people are in different spaces emotionally, psychologically, mentally. You don't know what's going on. You really don't. I'm not even going to say the name of the game. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the name of the game. You all are so crazy. All right. Phone lines are open. Oh, you know what? While we're waiting for the first phone call, we can go ahead and check the cash apples. Let's go ahead and do that right now. All right. Here we go. Joy says she sent some Bitcoin through and she says, easier to be a victim than to be your own hero. And that's the thing. Be your own hero. Stop with the madness. Stop with it. Cut it out. Cut it out. You're on the ear live with Tonya. What's your name and where you calling from?
Hi, this is Chanel.
Hi, Chanel. How are you?
I am fine, Tonya. I'm Shasha in the chat, and I'm Chanel in the tech squad.
Hey, how are you doing, Chanel? So talk to us while I give this thing a heart over here. Talk to us. What is your
Um,
comment
well,
today?
I wanted to call in to let you know that I just had a session with my therapist today, and she told me that I'm setting great boundaries and I'm doing good in all of the things that I wanted to work on. And I do want to tell you that part of that is because of you.
Oh, what do you mean by that?
Because you are just a stickler about boundaries and making sure that you make sure you're good. Like, and also, um, you've helped me be self aware
Mm,
because there's always a role that we play in our life.
mm-hmm,
Even if we are victimized, there are
mm-hmm.
things that we can do different so that that form of victimhood does not happen.
Okay.
And even if it does happen again, as long as it's not the same way that it was before and you've covered your bases
Mm-hmm.
on how to protect yourself, you at least know that you did everything that you could do.
Yes.
Because some situations are just horrible and they just happen.
Yes. Yes, you're right. Thank you. Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely. I
yeah.
feel
So
that. I feel that.
I really appreciate you and the tech squad and um, just having that community because I mean I'm like the lady who has been giving you some time here. I also don't have many friends,
Mm-hmm.
and it is basically been because of I don't have time to pour into people like I would like to, so I tend to not um you know I tend to not um befriend a lot of people because I really don't have the time to be there for people like I would like to be.
Okay. Well, you know what? I can respect that. And there is a tremendous difference between a person who says, I don't have many friends, right? even that can be reframed, because if we have the key friends that we need, you don't need, you just need the amount that you need. Like, there can be,
Right.
there are many different type of red flags. When there's somebody who's calling everybody a friend, that's a red flag to me. And somebody who says
Right.
that they have no friends, having no friends to me as an adult, and when you say the reason you have no friends is because you're just too nice and everybody was just too mean to you, that's not even speaking about it. See the difference between, in the statement, I have a few close chosen friends because those are the people that I choose to invest my time with. There's a difference
Right.
between that and I don't have any friends because everybody was just so mean. There's a huge
Hmm.
difference. You know what I mean? A
But then
huge
again, it
difference.
goes back to you, because it's like, what are you doing to keep people from using you?
Mm,
What are you putting out there that people think that you have user? I want to be used on my forehead. You know what I'm saying?
mhm.
Like that. That's a little strange.
Yeah, but you know what? But not even so much of that. It happens slowly too. And people test you. They test the bounds. And
Hmm.
it's really up to us to know ourselves well enough to be able to set boundaries. You said that you spoke with your therapist and that your therapist said that you're now setting great boundaries. And that is where it begins, because there are a lot of people out there who open themselves up to being used only to cry about it later. Some people want to be used. Some people don't feel right unless they're being used, unless they can continue with that same story. According to the documentary Happy, we become addicted to our emotions. And
Hmm.
if we don't feel a certain set of emotions each day, our mind will interpret certain situations so that we can feel those emotions again.
Hmm. Yep. Just like any other addiction.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, congratulations. Good job on getting therapy. Good job on going in there and opening up. Be sure to realize that there are several layers to healing and that each new layer requires a new you to show up and dive deeper into the uncomfortable areas. Are you ready for
And
that,
it is
Shasha?
uncomfortable.
Okay. Yes, it
It
is
is
very much so.
uncomfortable, but but I feel like with each step that I go through, it's making a better me, you know.
Hmm.
So
Okay,
it's
absolutely. And
it's
I
all
feel
worth
you
it.
on that. Yes, and taking a look at yourself and how we can do things differently, even in the situations in which we have been victimized. If we don't take the time to look and see
Right,
what we can do differently, then what's going to happen?
right. It's
Just
it's
happen
just gonna
again and
keep
again.
happening.
Right, exactly. So thank you so much for calling in and thank you for being a part of the text notification squad.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
All right.
All
Bye.
right. Phone lines are open 323-488. That's the number going across the screen right there. And so the the question is, right? How do we how do we do the thing? How do we self-reflect? How do we know if we are the problem? And I would venture to say that in any interaction, listen, you have to figure out who it is that you want and choose to be. Are you happy with who it is that you're choosing to be? Are you happy with how it is that you're showing up? How is it that you're treating other people? Because there are people out there who are talking about how they're being victimized, but they're the ones over here waging insults. They're the ones over there on these game apps attacking and killing people's players. You know what I'm saying? All because they feel as if they were done wrong from their perspective. Does that give you the right? Does you feeling as if you've been done wrong? And this is one thing that really kind of sticks out to me. Okay, so you feel as if you've been done wrong. Where do your rights begin and another per and another and where do your rights end and another person's rights begin? Do you have the, because there are people in relationships with people who are cursing them out, who are taking their fists and hitting them, and it's like, okay, I understand that you're upset, but does being upset give you the right to hit? Does being upset give you the right to call somebody out of their name? Does being upset give you the right to spit on someone? And there are some people out there who feels that it does. And then they're the ones who are also like, well, I did this because you did this to me. In the book by Lundy Bancroft, Why Does He Do That? I'm going to show you all the book because I have it. Just a moment. Ooh, my ting. Give me one moment, y'all. All right. Let's go. Let's oh, I gotta get my earpiece back in my ear. All right, here it is. Here it is. This is the book, Why Does He Do That by Lundy Bancroft, right? And this is a book about abusive men and why does he behave in this way. In the book, it talks about, oh, you know what? We'll talk about that in just a moment. We have a call coming through. You're on the air live with Tonya TKO. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hi, Tonya. This is Drea. I'm from North Carolina.
You said Trina or Drana?
Drea
Treya. Okay. Hi, Treya. Welcome.
is Drea. Hi,
Oh,
how are you?
hi, Drea. I'm fine. Thank you.
Um, I am part of the text notification squad. I have your book. I bought your
Hey.
makeup.
Hey. Hey, Drea. I think I know your last name.
Oh, okay. This is a wonderful topic because I was really reflecting on my whole process with being the perpetual victim. And I
Mm,
think, especially when I was younger, what what I noticed is that being the victim, I would walk into the victim mode because I would pour into people more than people poured into me,
mm,
hoping that they would reciprocate.
mm,
And that is never a good thing because you're never going to get what you think you should get out of someone else. The
mm,
I had to learn the healthier way was to pour into myself,
mm.
not to pour into other people. And
Yes.
so I tend to see a lot of victims, that's what they do. They will pour into others expecting that reciprocation. You know, it's like putting money in a bank and you're hoping that one day when you need to make a withdrawal that the money is there, but what winds up happening is there's never enough money there for you. There's never enough.
Oh. Wait, why do you say
So
that? Why do you say never enough? But let's come back to that. Keep going. Keep going.
because it's never you're never going to feel like anyone is going to pour into you, especially when you're coming from that position. I found that I would never feel that anybody gave me as much as I gave them
Mm,
because I was overdoing. So that when it was time for me to be in need, or was it emotional support or financial, whatever it was,
mm-hmm.
that when it was time for me to have a need, I really felt like I was getting back as much as I had given.
Okay,
So
so
that's when I had to really learn about boundaries and pouring into myself
yes, you know what?
and not expecting.
I have some questions for you that
Sure.
I'm so interested in finding out. And you know what? I really appreciate you calling in and talking about yourself. That's what this is all about. So thank you for speaking on this from your own point of view. Um, so let me pick your brain a little bit. So
Okay.
why though? Why the need to kind of put into this piggy bank to get back out?
Well, I want to say it's two things. I think one, it was what I was taught.
Mhm.
And I also think it's kind of cultural too. We as women are kind of geared to be the nurturers, the supporters, the givers.
Mhm.
And especially when it's cultural and religious.
Mm.
So there's kind of a lot of different things happening, what's going on at home. I came from a very a mother who was very codependent, so I learned how to be
Mm.
codependent. And
Mhm.
I came from a very religious background. And culturally, as a Black woman, that is kind of fed into you that, we're the never, we're the bottomless well where
Oh.
people can take and take and take and take and take. And we're the strong Black women, so we don't really need. So there's a lot of
Ah.
toxic, misaligned messages that we get from a lot of different sources. And depending
Yeah.
on, for me, because I did come from a family dynamic where I had a very codependent mother who didn't have healthy boundaries, and she was very religious and she
Mm.
was old school.
Mhm.
All those things just came together to make me start out the way I did.
And then when did you
And I
come
had
to
to
the
work hard.
realization? When did you come to the realization that there was what was it that made you see that things could be done a different way?
Well, I think for me, I've been in therapy on and off my whole life. So
Okay.
that was part of it. But also, I think I got sick and tired of being sick and tired of having the same results. Whether, because it's not just a man thing, it's not just a woman thing, it's a relationship thing.
Mm.
And so in each of the relationships, when I keep getting the same results, that I'm not getting as much as I'm pouring into this person, then I can't just say, "Oh, it's just the man using me," or "Oh, it's just my girlfriend's." Like it's across the board. So I think initially it was very hard for me. It was easier for me to see what was going on in my sexual, intimate relationships,
Mm.
but it took another step of really looking at myself to realize it's not just that, it's all my relationships. And that was
Mm.
the harder part for me because basically I was getting the same results with a different name and face.
Okay.
It, it,
So
it
let
was
me
the
ask you this
same results over
question.
and over again.
Yeah,
I'm
so
sorry?
when you would give, right?
Hmm.
And what was it that what would go through your mind as you were getting ready to give and it was something that you didn't feel comfortable with giving? What would go through your mind?
And that's a really great question because it still goes through my mind now. And that is that if I was in that position, I'd want somebody to do that for me. And
Mm.
so I had to really, because that still goes through my mind now. But now because I have healthier boundaries, I can go, yeah, okay, now. Because then I can assess the situation and go, it's not like, the person is $5 short. This person is consistently every month can't pay their rent, or it's something that's a pattern with this
Mm.
person,
Mhm, mhm.
that no matter how much I pour into this person, the pattern is going to persist. And I also had to realize that I can't fix anybody, that me trying to help them disables them from learning their lesson. And that was very
Mm.
hard for me to understand because
Okay.
in Christianity and being a Black woman, and we're this endless well that people can just draw from, we're supposed to be able to give and give and give and give
Yeah.
regardless.
Yeah.
But when I started to realize that, oh, I'm not helping that person because, in fact, and here's another piece I want to put into it. There's
Yeah.
a bit of ego in giving because what I found was I would think the person wouldn't hurt me the way they did other people, that I was special to them.
Hold on,
So
hold
if
on.
I,
What?
okay, so let's say you have a person that is a grifter, or they always have to borrow money, or they can't pay their rent. You know,
Yeah.
they have a pattern.
Yeah.
So when the person would come to me, we'd be like, okay, I'm gonna help you, but this is what I expect you to do to get yourself on your feet. And I'm doing this because I really care about you and you're really important to me. And the person will tell you, yeah, I'm gonna follow through, I'm gonna pay you back, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But in reality, you were just another victim to them. You were just another person that they could use. But
Okay.
in my mind, I was so close and that person was so special to me. I never expect them. I knew what they did to other people, but because of our relationship, I thought I was exempt from them doing the same thing for
So
me,
kind of like
which
buying
was
allegiance.
right. So you
Very
just kind of think,
interesting.
okay, my mother. I'm just going to give you an example.
Mhm.
I'll do it. A family member like your brother, your sister. You know, your brother and sister is out there, borrowing rent from Peter or Paul. They can't pay their bills. Blah blah
Yeah.
blah blah blah.
Mhm.
So they come to you out of desperation and they go, okay, I'm really desperate. I'm about to lose my apartment. Blah blah blah. Whatever.
Mhm.
Okay, if you help me get out of this, I'll be good. And because of the relationship, because that's your family member and you love them and blah, blah, blah,
Mhm.
you know their history, but you kind of dismiss it because you think, but this is me and them. They're not going to do me the same way that they did everyone else, which is kind of ego. It's
Oh,
crazy
very
and it's ego.
interesting. Very
But people
interesting.
do
Think.
that all the time.
Mhm.
I did that. You just kind of think you're exempt from them treating you badly like they treated everyone else badly. And then when they treat you badly, the victim comes out and goes, see, oh, woe is me. But there was always evidence of them being who they are. It doesn't give matter, it doesn't matter who you are in connection to them in that relationship. This is what they do. So why would you expect
Ah.
them to do anything different?
Interesting. Interesting. Thank you for sharing that question. Did you ever find yourself going out of your way to help people so that you could be the one to help them?
Um, I'm going to say yes. And I think again that comes back to ego, especially when I was in my 20s. I mean, now, hell no. But in my 20s, again, I think, with religion and
Mhm.
how we are supposed to be as women, and, yeah, there was a part of me that felt like being helpful, trying to help other people, really trying to save other people um made me a better person. And I don't think I consciously thought that. I just
Wait.
think because, like I said, go ahead.
Made you a better person in what way?
Because I'm a good Christian and I'm helping other people and I'm a wonderful black woman
Oh.
that, people can rely on. I'm a good person. It just makes you a good person, in my eyes, based
Oh.
on my environment, being like, again, coming from a codependent mother who is very
Yeah.
religious and
Mhm.
who didn't have boundaries. This is one of the ways that I felt esteem by
Mm.
being able to help other people, even to
Okay.
the detriment of myself, because, it's
Okay.
selfless. I mean, this is the religious thing, be selfless, be helpful, help the widows in the office. I mean, there's a lot of religion, toxic religion teachings,
Yeah.
wrapped up in this too.
I mean, well, you have to
So,
think about how some of these religions were used as a tool of subjugation. So there were books that were
mhm,
purposely taken out of some of these texts,
absolutely.
and other books that were translated into meaning what it is that they wanted it to mean. But they're talking to you about turning each one of their cheeks. But if you went up there and slapped a slave master, is he going to turn both cheeks so that you could go slap him some more?
No, no, ma'am, he gonna kill you.
So you're supposed to be the
Exactly,
one turning all your cheeks and putting your cheeks in the air and putting
exactly.
your all this, that, and the other, but they're not
And
even
even as a
living.
woman,
Mm-hmm.
we're subjugated to men and authority. I mean, we're subjugated over and over and over again. And so, and I came from a very fundamentalist religion.
Mm.
So when I think about it, I can see how all the parts added up to me being so codependent and a perpetual victim. And it was a journey to learn to have boundaries and not feel guilty about having those boundaries, because there is still sometimes when the guilt pops up and I go, oh, there you are, guilt. Yeah, we're not doing that today. but I didn't have
Mm.
that level of awareness back in the day
Got you,
to
got you.
not
So
feed into that guilt.
let me just reiterate what it is that I've heard, right, so far
Okay.
in terms of your giving and overgiving and self-abuse through giving. That
Mhm.
ultimately the first reason that you mentioned was because it was kind of a quid pro quo, kind of like a piggy bank kind of thing. Like, I'm going to give into this situation because when I need, if I
Right.
need, and if I were
Yes.
in need, I would want
Yes.
someone to do the same thing for me, and I would expect this person to repay me back. So I'm buying their favor. So also that's another one, buying their
Mhm.
favor so that you can get something back in return. And then three, that you were in an ego state where, well, they may have done this to other people, but I'm different. They're not going to do this to me because we have a different
Right.
relationship. I don't know what happened in those other relationships, but in
Right.
our relationship, they're going to do me right. As well
Right.
as on the flip side of that, also being like, well, now this person has to be, they have to form allegiance to me. So four, like this person is going to be good to me because I went out of my way. And then
Yep.
five, feeding into your own sense of self, harming
Right.
yourself to help other people, to fortify an idea of who it is that you are purporting yourself to be. So I am purporting
Right.
myself to be a good religious person, and a good
Right.
religious person, I am harming myself to help this person. So is that pretty much it?
Yes. And I think the biggest one for me was
Mhm.
the, well, if I was in this position, I'd want somebody to do this for me. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm putting out this energy. So, if I was in this position, I'd want somebody to help me like the way that they need help.
Yeah, you know what? I'm
And
glad that
that,
you brought that up. I have to stop you right there because because I meant to say this the first time, but then I forgot. So I want to say this now that I remember.
mhm,
On the flip side of that, because we're imagining, oh well, if I were ever in dire straits, this person would come
mhm,
forward. So on the flip side of that, I wonder if there is the impetus, the desire, the kind of motivation to become destitute, so that, oh well, now I'm destitute, so look, are you going to help me? My debt is up,
mm,
or your debt is up, are you going
right,
to help me? So in a
mm,
way, bringing that on to yourself. The only reason why I bring that up is because I had an associate, and I talked about him yesterday in yesterday's video, where he was always forcing his help on people, and he tried to
mm.
force his help on me so that I could become the
Yes, I
villain
heard
of his
that.
story, right?
Mhm,
But then
mhm,
he was broke a lot of the time.
mm,
Like, he was like, and then he would come up and then he would think that his brokenness was going to make these people pay him. And sometimes they would give him money. But like you said, it was never really enough because he never negotiated what it was that he felt that his time was worth. So they would give him what they could, and he always felt slighted. And then I remember
okay.
when I was in this friendship with him, right? He was always like, I remember this was when I had first when I was I living in my car at the time? I don't remember what happened, but I ended up being broke. I ended up having financial issues. And when I came to him, I remember that there was a part of me that was like, well, now, because I'm a lifetime entrepreneur. I started my first business when I was 13. I've never had a full-time job. I've always only made my own money. And I remember, so people have always related to me in such a way like, oh, you're the rich family member, or oh, you're this, or oh, you're that. Oh, well, that's easy for you to say. And my friend was a white man, and he was
Mm,
talking about how I had it so good and how I had this, that, and the other. And I remember I had financial issues. And I remember that there was a part of me that was like, oh, good. Now he can't try to throw it in my face. And when I
mm,
thought that, I realized that I had to curtail our interactions. I had to chop off our interactions because, and I actually said to him, I was like, why is it that the motivation is for me to come down to your broke level instead of for you to do what it is that you need to do to come up to mine? I'm like, you're a white male in America and you talking to a black woman about all it is that I have. I said, you need to be, that was the beginning of the end right there. That was the beginning of the
Right.
end. And so I wonder though, because he was always fine. Because when I found myself having financial issues, it was uncomfortable. I didn't like that shit at all. I
Mhm.
didn't like it at
Amen.
all. My vagina
Mhm.
cannot get moist when there's financial
Right.
issues. It can't. I showed you
Right.
all a Christophene. That's how it just sucks back up into itself. I didn't like the
Right.
feeling. I can't sleep at night. Imagine me
Right.
on some soft pillow with gumdrops dancing through my head when I'm in dire straits. Ain't no way. I mean, I know we all need rest, but to hell with that. I
Right.
got the jitters at night if I'm not taken care of, if I don't have
Absolutely.
imagine me going to sleep when there's Uber jobs to be had and all this, that, and the other. So this is why when these people come up inside Granny's house talking about you're not gonna let my man stay, we can't stay up in here. What is it that you're doing? While you're standing there, you could be going and delivering some food from door to door. You could be
Absolutely. Right.
dashing. You could be doing something.
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I just had to rant.
No, that's fine. I hear you. Yeah, for me, I don't think it was me putting myself down to their level.
Oh no, I didn't say that was you.
Um,
That was me. I put myself down on this fool's level and I didn't like it there.
right. I think for me, um, it was I wanted to see people do better.
Mhm.
And but again, that's ego because if this is their journey, this is their journey. I just other people so seeing other people be uncomfortable made me uncomfortable. That's how codependent I was. And I had to learn how to be okay with me being uncomfortable that someone else is uncomfortable.
Mm. Mhm.
I
Mhm.
had to learn how to, especially when it's a pattern. Now, listen, any one of us can have a life event.
Mhm.
And I'm not talking about a life event and you just you start cutting off people and you don't help anybody. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is when there's a pattern, when you
Mm.
know this is
Mhm.
how this person lives.
Mhm.
They live, borrowing and never paying their bills
Mhm.
and the rent is always late and blah 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 and things are getting repossessed and this is their pattern.
Mm.
And so for me to think I can come in there and clean it up is ego.
Mm.
And
Okay.
so and even though it's ego, I mean, this is what we're taught in Christianity and to be a good black woman, that's the endless
Mm.
well and
Mm.
all this other crap that gets fed to us. But I had to learn one of the biggest thing was seeing someone I care about going through issues and not saving them. Now, I
Mm.
can say to them now, well, this is what you need to do. And whether they take my advice or not is up to them. But my how I feel is not contingent on what they do because that's their choice.
Yeah. 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 You
And I
want to
had to
know,
learn
Drea?
that.
You want to know how I got people to stop asking me for money? And then
Mhm.
also, there was somebody in the comments who's talking about white men in America broke. How? This is what I'm saying. And I had that conversation I promise you, I spoke to him about why should I have to come down to your broke level instead of you rising
Mhm.
up to mine. I didn't say it harshly. I tried to be as polite as I could. But that is what I had to have that conversation with him about because this was in our relationship and I had to bring it up. And it may have hurt him to
Right.
hear, it may have been difficult, but I had to bring it up. But the way that I stop people from asking me for money is I realized because when I had TKO Skin, I had an entire work loft with a production space and shelves and all this other stuff. And when people would
Mhm.
ask me for money, I would tell them to come to work because it was like somebody had to
Mhm.
get the
Mhm.
money. Somebody had to get the money. I was like, either I'm
Mhm.
going to be paying Sarah to do the job, or I could pay somebody who's saying that they need because I'm going to have to spend the money for labor. Would you
Right.
believe when I implemented the policy of no longer giving people money, right? But having them work for it, people stop asking me for money. And every once in a while, someone will ask me for money. And my policy is because I still have work that can be done. I have editing that can be done. I have stuff on
Right.
my website that can be done. I have emails. I have a lot of work that can be done. And when I tell
Right.
people, listen, I am paying XYZ per hour, you would need to do XYZ amount of hours in exchange for what it is that you're asking me for, right?
Mhm.
And once we worked out the terms and negotiated the
Mhm.
hourly rate and how many hours they would need to do, 9 out of 10 people do not follow through. They don't follow through with doing the work. They don't, even though they
Right.
can do the work from home, you can edit, you
Right.
can do all of this stuff from home. And then, and then there are certain people, right, that they're in dire straits, right?
Right.
And I will give them a deposit. I'll give them a deposit for the work, right? You're in dire
Mhm.
straits, I will give you a deposit. Now you owe me this work. Would you believe they don't contact me back to do the work that I have given them the deposit on?
Yeah, I believe it.
And you
I
know
believe
what
it.
that
Mhm.
does? Because I remember I had this associate when I lived in Atlanta. This sexy ass Omega. Oh god damn, he was so fine. But nonetheless, he was a business owner and he basically told me about continuing education and continuing to educate yourself. And he explained to
Mhm.
me way back in those days. He was like, "Well, this is the cost that you have paid to get this person out of your life." And
I
sometimes it
amen.
doesn't
Mhm.
cost very much. And also he talked to me about, continuing education. And sometimes we pay tuition to the School of Hard Knocks, where we
Right.
pay a certain amount of money and we in exchange we get the lesson from that School of Hard Knocks. And
Right.
yeah. My goodness. I'm just thinking about back in the days.
Absolutely. And I have not been in a position where I can say, okay, well, do work for me in exchange for that. But one of the things that I have
Yes, you can. You
done
got a
when
house,
I
you got
am
an apartment, you got a broom. Tell them to come over and
well, yeah,
sweep, and you would even give them above market rate to sweep and
right.
organize and watch and see.
And
If you got a house,
absolutely.
there's a sidewalk that needs to be swept up. If it's winter,
Amen.
there's snow that needs to be shoveled. If you have lawn, there's lawn that needs to be cut.
Yes,
If you have gutters, there's leaves that need to be taken out. There's all different types of
true.
things that you can employ people to do. It doesn't even necessarily have to be business stuff.
Right.
Even if you want to deep clean your carpets, they have these things at they sell at the home repair stores where you can rent a deep cleaner for your carpet by the
Yes.
day, and
Mhm.
you can rent one of those and say, well, you know what, come and deep clean my carpets. I will pay you XYZ per hour. Somebody in the comments is saying they pay per project. I pay per hour. That's how I do it.
Right.
And so you can go get one of them deep cleaners. You can bring your car out of the garage. You can there's a lot of things you can do. They can armor roll
Yeah,
all your
true.
tires. They can armor roll your dashboard and all of the different plastic pieces in your car. You can give them a job to do something. Even if the job is stitching up holes inside of your yoga pants, because healthy thighs
Yes.
save lives and sometimes they burn a hole in the middle. It doesn't matter what it
Yes.
is. There's something that you can do to employ a person. But my thing is, when you
Absolutely.
tell them that you have this job in exchange for the money that they're asking you for, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to tell you 9 times out of 10.
Right. Exactly. And I was going to say one of the things that I had to learn is um, when people ask me for money, and that doesn't really occur too much nowadays, but in the past when people would ask me for money, let's say they wanted $100.
Mhm.
Instead of giving the whole $100, I'd give them 25 and say, okay, well, now you got to figure out the rest. Like not being the savior in the situation,
Mhm. Mhm.
not being the savior. Like, okay, I can help you out a little bit, and this is what I can afford to lose in my head. I'm saying, okay, well, I can afford to lose $25. I can't afford to lose $100 or whatever
Mm.
it is,
Mhm.
because now I'm not trying to be the savior. That
Mm.
is not part of my motivation. It's like, okay, I got $25 that I can, spare. It's not going to break me. You
Yeah.
know, I'm I'm fine with if I never get it back. But no, $100, $500, 1,000. No, I'm not trying to just give that away.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know
So I
what?
had to learn how to not do that.
On that note, I want to stress that whenever you're doing something for somebody, if you can't do it with a clean heart,
Right,
don't do it. Don't do it. If you
right,
can't do it and it be just that is what it is, don't do it. Don't do it.
right, right. Absolutely.
Girl, it was so good talking to you. Thank you so much for your
Oh, it was
love and
wonderful
support on the
talking to you
channel.
too.
Yes, thank you. We
Wow.
appreciate. So many people learned so much from your phone call. So thank you, Drea.
Oh, namaste. Thank you too. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening.
Namaste. You too. Bye bye. All right. So the phone lines are open. There was one young lady who who said she wanted to call in, but she was feeling a little afraid. Hey, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. We have Titan in the comments who's saying feminist TKO. You goddamn right, I'm a feminist. And I'm a feminist. You're not going to be here. I ain't. Look, you have no. Some of you suckers out there have problems. Admitting to people that you're black. Some of you suckers out there got problems admitting that you're a woman. Some of you suckers out there got problems being who it is that you are and advocating for people who need your assistance. You goddamn right. I'm a feminist. Yes, whatever skewed vision or version or whatever it is that people have of what feminism is ain't got nothing to do with me. Everybody here needs to be a feminist. Everyone. And there's a lot of people who try to make you feel ashamed of the word feminism, but no, I'm a feminist. Absolutely. And no qualms about it in case you didn't know. Now you mother effing know. Phone lines are open 323-488-3149. So many of us don't really want to be who it is that we are. We don't want to be ourselves. We want to run and hide. I remember I had this content creator associate who was out here with a whole bunch of white people following them, and the person didn't want to admit that they was black. But when something happened and they needed to talk about their blackness, they white fans were like, don't burden us. Don't burden us. Like, why do you have to bring race into all of this? They forgot the person was black. And I'm not even, and this person is not ambiguous. This person is black, black. Like, well, not blackity black, black, but black, black, like of the culture. You could see they have Negroid features and brown skin. But it's like, you can't forget that this person, well, you can forget when people don't bring it to the forefront and they try to act like they want you to forget. Then they be like, oh, how dare you? Like when Beyonce started talking about black stuff. Well, Beyonce is, I don't know what Beyonce is, but she says she identifies as black. I don't know. I don't know. I know her mother had that problematic documentary, so I don't even know what her mother is. I'm sorry. Okay, okay. I'm being inappropriate because most of you have accepted this as black. So I think once we start getting parents who are all mixed and consider themselves black, then we are like, oh, well, you black then because you Creole from a long line of mixed black people. But whatever, I don't care. It ain't none of my business. I'm just gonna move on because I know some of you gonna be angry about that. But I don't want no smoke on that because I don't give a fuck. Beyonce money does not help me in any way, shape, or form. So I'm not gonna stand here standing for her. You could stand if you want to. All I know is that there ain't no woman in the industry today who is a mega superstar or a diva of R&B or pop who is darker than a brown paper bag. So we could say who is black and all this other stuff as much as we want to, but ain't none of them black women. Nikki, ain't none of them darker than a brown paper bag. So whatever. Look, I don't want no smoke. I don't want no smoke. Go ahead. Look, whatever you say, whatever you gotta say. Francine is telling me to stop. Alona's telling me to stop. That is fine. These are my. This is look. This is how I feel. I'm sorry. This is how I feel. This is how I feel. I'm sorry. Look, when we have equality, look, Francine is saying black is black. No, black is not black. Black is not black. People accept Obama as black and his mother is white. Obama is biracial. And the longer that we continue to live underneath this guise, people call Meghan Markle black, first black princess. And she and her father is white, red-nosed white man and everything. And he was up there on that as soon as he got the chance to get some money from the British media, he was out there talking his shit, right? He was out there talking his shit. Listen, I don't want to get off into a whole tangent on that because if you're not really ready for my thoughts, then just we could just okay, 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 all right, okay, all right, all right, okay, all right, okay, 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 all right, okay, all right. So you all hear what it is that I'm saying because it's like okay, okay, because this is how this foolishness continues and perpetuates. Because we're like, oh yeah, you're what, you're this, you're that. Oh, coming to the barbecue. And then the next thing you know, your kids and people who look like you no longer at the damn barbecue. Next thing you know, you people who look like you no longer at the draft. Oh yeah, my uh-huh. Right. Listen, Megan Thee Stallion is not darker than a brown paper bag either. Megan is beautiful and we love Megan. But we have to be real about what's going on in the industry. Look, what? Look, let's continue forward. Phone lines are open. Phone lines are open. 323-488-3149. I was watching a content creator whom I love, Brian Tyler Cohen, and he played a video from Kanye West where Kanye West held up a phone and talked about how all of these agents, how all of these media organizations have Jewish people who are in management or CEO positions or whatever it is that he said. And then he talked about in the media how there's music that is being promoted of black genocide or something along those lines, right? I think no mass serial killing. That's what he was talking about. And Brian Tyler Cohen was like, he this is so anti-Semitic. I said, what is anti-Semitic? I wrote in his comments. I know people have responded back to me, but I was like, what is anti-Semitic about speaking the truth about who is in a management position at a company? It's like if that is the truth, how is that anti? And I think that we've gotten to a place in our society where if you mention the truth, they call you phobic or anti something. And I'm like, ugh, 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 look, I'm like, ugh, come on. I'm really curious. I'm really curious. And I'm like, how did we get to this point where it's like you can't even speak the truth nowadays without people being like, you're phobic. And I'm like, I don't have an irrational fear of you. How am I phobic? A phobia is an irrational fear. Do I have a fear of being in a situation with a person that does not acknowledge their born biological strength, difference, muscle twitch fiber, and bone density pummeling me because they think that we're the same? Yes, I have a fear of that. Do I have a fear of people getting into the rings or in sports with people who have a genetic advantage and erasing all of the leaps and bounds that people of my gender have gained over the centuries? Yes. That is a reasonable apprehension. So I went off on a tangent that I did not mean to go off on, but let's continue forward. 323-488-3149. We're talking about victim mentality. Let me refresh my captions real quick. Give me one moment. Oh, all right. So here we go. All right. All right. And you know what? And Kiki Palmer, Lord, I wanted to make a video when she came out talking about that there was no colorism. I just wanted to go just pop a brown paper bag right in her face. Like she could have just been quiet. It's like just close your mouth and allow people to defend you because what they're saying is the damn truth. Colorism exists. Pretending that it doesn't exist is not beneficial. And we understand that she's made leaps and bounds, but the thing is that when you have to be twice as good to go half as far, like come on. Oh. It's like, where would she have been? Where would Viola Davis have been if they had that effortless ability to align with the standard of beauty? Where would they have gone? It's like it's like you minimize the real life struggle, the real life situation of everybody in the same boat as you when you pretend as if they are not going through and experiencing what they are experiencing. Colorism is real, featureism is real, texturism is real. Like we have so many little black girls who have grown up into women who do not and did not know what their hair texture looked like. Even I, before I went natural, I didn't know that my hair texture, I thought my hair texture was going to look like Freddie from a different world. I thought it was going to be loose and curly and all that other stuff. And then when I had the cotton swab on my head, I was like, oh, when is it going to change? It did not change. It's like there's too many of us who are not familiar with what Negroid women actually look like. And we have so many black men who are out here gassing up women who share the features of the oppressor. And they are exalting them and lambasting the women who look like them. I remember a conversation I had with a black man recently where he told me what his ideal woman looked like. And I told him, I said, listen, you do not genetically have the ability to create a person who looks like that with a person who also looks like you genetically. You don't have the ability to make that. And so you're telling me that your ideal woman is a woman that genetically you do not have the ability to produce, and that you need the daughters of your oppressor to be able to create this person, or your oppressor straight out. And so, listen. And somebody is saying that they would like for me to talk about popular topics, even if there's no self-love lessons. I wouldn't want to create videos like that because it's not there's no point in it for me. There's so many other people talking about it. There's no point in me talking about it. You know what I mean? And yeah, Kiki doesn't realize that she's the token black girl. You know, the thing about it is, it's like, listen, my phone lines are open. We're talking about victim mentality. I don't want to get too far off on a tangent because I'm starting to feel the munchies coming on. I know we're talking about everything. We really are divinely. We really are. And Mango is saying there's no dark skinned woman that is an international superstar, unfortunately. Is there not? What about the women from Black Panther? Are they not? I mean, I guess I'm calling them the women from Black Panther. I don't know not a near one of their names. I don't know not a one of their names. So I guess they ain't no household name. They're not a household name. And SJ is saying, my mother started relaxing my hair when I was 6. I had no idea what my texture was until 2014 when I went natural. I have 3C hair. My mom truly had no business. She said it was too unmanageable. And listen, that happens. That happens. That happens. That happens. All right. So the NBA draft is already lighter than 20 years ago. Of course. Of course. And then now black men are starting to complain because they wanted biracial people to replace black women. They felt that was Black 2.0, that they made themselves better. And you know what the crazy part about it is that far too many of them, far too many Black men are looking for a woman to create the type of daughter that has the phenotype of the woman that he would like to be with. So he's like, yeah, you know what? I have this I'm not going to say too much. I'm not going to say too much, but I will say this, that men will brag to you about how beautiful their daughters are as a form of their own ego stroking. They will brag to you and be like, look at what pretty daughters I've made, right? And you can tell a lot about what it is that he considers to be pretty from the features that his daughter has that he's coveting. That's all I'm going to say on that. Okay, Lupita Nyong'o. Okay, yes, Lupita Nyong'o is an international star, isn't she? Does that count? Does that count? So thank you for that. Yes, yes, yes. Lupita. Yes, yes, yes. Angela Bassett really gained her stardom 30 years ago. And I met Angela Bassett in person. She is not dark complected. She's not. And the fact that we have to even say or try to posit it as if she is just shows how skewed we are. She's not dark complected. And for those of you who have never seen Angela Bassett in person, I don't know how. You know how some people are not photogenic? Like she looks nice in video and pictures, but when you see her in person, the video and the pictures are not capturing what it is that you're seeing in person. She is stunning. Angela Bassett is a sight to behold. I was taken aback by the unmistakable, unadulterated, just profuse beauty of that woman. And France says most Black men want to be with a Black woman. Okay, you have to hmm you have to you have to qualify where you are doing your survey, who are you surveying, and are they being open and honest with you. Just because a person is with a person doesn't mean that that is the epitome of who it is that they feel that they can be with. And far too many Black men consider to be with the daughter of his oppressor to be a status symbol for him to be in some sort of penile competition with the white man. I'm gonna if nobody's gonna call in, we're gonna jump out of here because you all got me talking a little too much. Kelly Rowland isn't an international superstar, and Kelly Rowland really had to fight for her space to even be heard. Um, she if Beyonce would have stayed in that group, Kelly would never. Unfortunately, she would have never been able to get her shine. Kelly had to fight for airspace and airwaves after the group disbanded, and she had to stay keeping herself out there. But it did not come easy for Kelly. It did not come easy for Kelly. Did someone say Omarosa? Omarosa is, you know what? Omarosa is brown. I actually met Omarosa and spent a little bit of time with her at an event. And she is a very intimidating woman. She seems very sweet, but you know underneath that sweetness is a ruthlessness. And she seems like the type of person that you would not want to really have in your close friend circle, but somebody that you wouldn't mind, hanging out with and doing business with. Well, a certain type of business, as long as you all were not adversaries across the table, as long as you were on her side of business. So, so you all are not talking about anybody who has come out within the past 10 years, 20 years. Nobody, don't you think it's odd that you all are not mentioning anybody who has gotten their fame, any brown skin, dark skinned women who have gotten their fame within the last 10 years? Somebody can have the nerve to say Queen Latifah. Queen Latifah was grown when I was a little girl. All right. Somebody's saying one more caller. All right. Well, you're on the air live with Tonya. What's your name?
Good evening. This is Raphael.
Hey, Ralph, and where are you calling in from?
My place in New York. How are you?
Hi, welcome, 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 welcome to the line. So, talk to us, Ralph.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Well, no one else is calling in,
Hold on, I gotta
and
fix my earpiece. Hold on. I'm sorry.
sure, sure.
Okay. Oh, it's falling. Now it's falling out completely. I gotta squeeze the thing. Hold on. Okay, sorry about that. I'm back with you. Talk to me.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, for many reasons, I called in tonight. Nobody else is calling in. Um, but most importantly, the topic that you've been discussing on your lives lately is really close to my heart, especially this year. How to fight
Mm,
victim mentality, how to um, how to learn from other people and observe and not uh, fall victim either way by helping people too much or by being able to reflect on the situations that you put yourself in. It's all
mm-hmm.
really important work.
Mm. Yes. Okay. So talk to us. What is the takeaway, the anecdote, your personal life lesson?
Well, tonight especially, I know I learned from a few people who call in and many of the things you've said tonight that um, we can be victims both ways. Sometimes, if we use our emotions uh, to get ourselves used to, I guess, a weaker point of view instead of strengthening ourselves, we can just fall into a hole and then we'll just never see or never learn from our mistakes. And
Mm,
likewise, sometimes we help each other too much and we don't realize that that's also abusive too. And me
mm,
personally, um, I I do have a friend or two who um, I've learned from. Uh, these are people who, I mean, I have my own issues in my life, but they
mm-hmm,
they like to complain and say, "Why is me? Why is me?" And I would never want to be like that. And it's tough. It's tough to change what you've learned growing up and how you see the world and the tools you've used to survive in the world. But um,
Are you going to have the courage to talk about the times that you were in victim mentality?
well, to be honest with you, it is hard to see that in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I can identify that from way back in the day when I was younger. But today in the call, I've slowly sort of realized that I have a lot of stuff to work on. Um, this year, I've been trying to change my career path, and I've been a little slow at that. I've been
Mm,
used to asking for help and making, I guess, sacrifices in my life instead of living a better, easier lifestyle than I'm used to. And it's
mm-hmm.
just because I think I've had fear of failure and
Mm,
I've been too comfortable.
mm,
And it's tough. It's tough reaching out. It's also tough depending on yourself when uh, you've been giving a lot. You know,
mm,
I've been very blessed growing up, but I feel like a lot like one of the previous callers. I think it was the young lady who called just before. My mother was codependent. She's religious, and I've done a lot of work, and I still have so much work to do. And I'm too afraid to trust myself, or um, I'm too afraid to uh, feel like I deserve good things, and I just don't follow up, and I don't follow through with a lot of opportunities
mm.
that have come my way. And there's something right now. There's a deadline coming up, and um, my mind, I guess, you know how our brains, we only want to, or our brains want to make things simpler for us, and
Yeah.
so it's been hard to do a lot of work and sort of break from, I guess, my laziness, but it's more than that because I feel like it's lazy to call it laziness. It's
Mm.
me being comfortable um, with less responsibilities.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've just been holding myself back.
Well, what is it that you feel that you are holding yourself back from, and how are you holding yourself back?
Well, right now I've recently I've acquired a mentor who's he's doing really well in finance,
Mhm.
and he's very busy, but he's giving me a lot of time, and he gave me some notes on my resume over the weekend, and the holiday passed. I did take a day or two to recover, but I know he works like 7 days a week, so I could
Mm.
show him any of the edits or any of my research or any of my studying into finance and accounting, but I really just haven't been able to produce anything or work on anything. Just
Mm.
and I don't know. I feel like I'm afraid like I'm not going to get the opportunity, so I've given up and I get distracted easily.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah, and I've just
And then where does
fallen
the
into that.
victim mentality come in the whole scenario?
Well, personally, like I said, I'm not I've definitely grown out of that for the most part. There's no outward signs where I don't really complain about things that bad things that happen to me. I don't say why me. I don't. I'm trying to think of other ways that we can clearly see like a victim mentality. It I don't do exactly that, but
Mhm.
it's the internal work where I don't accept help. I don't think I deserve help, and I'm fine. I don't know, not having the money to spend or turning down opportunities or staying home instead of meeting my friends in places. You
Mm.
know, I feel like I am in therapy. I do see a therapist once a week, and that's been a big help. And I've seen my friends
Mm.
as an asset. And if I have people I don't talk to anymore or a smaller group of friends, I feel like that's a good thing, and that's not something for me to complain about.
Mm.
And I have been able to be more introspective than I have been previously.
Mm. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but there's
So
still a lot
what
of
do you,
work to do.
so how will you utilize your therapist to be able to get
hmm
over some of these blocks, the fear of failure, the fear of success, those things?
Well, um, I'm not with everything, but with most things, you get what you put in, and so
Mhm.
I have to be honest with him about my insecurities, my fears, any thoughts, and I use my therapist to hold me accountable.
Mhm.
And week after week, month after month, um, he keeps tabs of the progress of where I want to be and where I aim to be. And if there's anything I haven't accomplished yet, he does ask me if there's maybe a more aggressive strategy or things I should avoid or that's distracting me or keeping me back from the
Mhm.
goals that I want.
Yeah, well, you know what? One thing that's really important, and I'm glad that you brought this up, is that with therapy, you get out what it is that you put in. And it's really up to
hmm
us to open up to our therapist, to realize that our therapist is there as our tool on our side. And we have to tell them the
hmm
truth, because you can go in there and you can, fluff about for however long you choose to. But when you
hmm
are using your therapist to really find healing, and you open up and you say, well, you know what, let's work on this, and you use your therapist as someone who can collaborate with you on your healing, you get so much more out of it. So thank you for calling and bringing that perspective. How are you feeling?
Thank you, Tonya. I am good. I don't like this time of year particularly. I miss the sunlight. Um, I also have a little cold because it's been warm. It was like the warmest Thanksgiving ever here in New York City,
Mm,
and the changing of the weather does affect my health a little. But I am relying on my friends, and I am looking forward to the aims or the goals that I've set for myself in the next few months. There's always
mm,
something to look forward to and keep my head up. I use meditation. I've been working out.
mm,
A
mm-hmm.
routine really helps with that.
Okay.
Also, something you mentioned before about when we retell a story and about being introspective, that,
Mm-hmm.
this is actually one of the reasons why I felt like I had to call in because I feel like a lot of times we have friends who don't help us, and when we retell a story about maybe something that happened to us or an interaction, you know, a lot of times people just want to be right. They want to be the heroes of their own story instead of just
Mm,
maybe recounting to their friends or their therapist exactly what happened and not
mm,
assume or diagnose anybody or interpret anything that they can't really prove. And
mm,
I think the most important thing is to just to take away a learning, like you always do at the end of your videos, a self love lesson. It's the most important thing than being like, oh, this person did that to me. Can you believe it? I was right. I did nothing wrong. That to me is like insane. And when you kept asking me, about examples and me opening up, that those are like really extreme examples. I could never give you an example of me acting like that. Not since I was like a teenager in my early 20s. I've learned very early on that um, when you want to be the hero of your story and you're constantly uh, escaping crazy people or you don't have a lot of friends despite you being a nice person, you're only cheating yourself from the life experience. You're holding yourself back from all the little lessons you can learn and improving as a person.
yeah, well, let me ask you this question. What is the story
Mm-hmm.
that you tell about the 3 hours that we spent online? Because this is my first time speaking with you since I did those rounds trying to find a person to edit my videos, a person who was well qualified, and you
Yes.
wowed the crowd and you wowed the audience until you were given the job. And then what is the story that you tell about what happened afterwards?
I don't tell that story actually because I'm still trying to learn from it. You gave me a great opportunity and I just couldn't follow through with that.
What is the story that you would say happened if you were to tell that story right now?
I would say that um, we collaborated briefly. You gave me feedback, and I don't know. I don't even remember exactly what was happening that week, but I think what I did was I used your trip as an excuse as to not being able to ask for maybe more guidance or taking asking for more time to maybe discuss compensation stuff like that. That's like old patterns that I have.
Okay. But it
Hmm.
started it started as soon as we got off of air because you were charming and charismatic when we were on air. But when we got
Hmm.
off air, you said that you
Hmm.
had some ideas and you were going to send some things over the next day. And then you said that, and then the next day came, you didn't get back in touch with me. You weren't answering my messages. You said that you were going to do it. Then when I confronted you and pressed, you were like, "Oh, I'm at a
Hmm.
party, I'm busy right now." And then you said that you were going to do it, but then the ball
Hmm.
just got dropped and it just never materialized. And you came back and you apologized and stuff, but after that,
What I remember, sorry.
mhm. Yeah.
Hmm. Well, what I remember is I did do some initial work, and you had critiques and suggestions, and for me, I don't know, maybe it was more work than I initially thought. Maybe I wanted, I don't know, to settle payment first. Whatever it was, um, I don't know. I don't really remember everything that happened that week. But yeah, I definitely dropped the ball with that.
Yeah, from what it is that I remember, I don't remember any video being created. And I remember that there was
Oh no, I
the,
definitely did. I definitely
no,
did send
no,
you a
from
few
what
files.
from right, from what it is that I remember,
Mhm.
there was a long span of time that passed and
Mhm.
that there was no video that was created. Do you remember if there was what program you may have used?
Filmora.
Okay, and there was something that was not, there was something, if you did send a file, there was something that just it wasn't the right orientation, or it wasn't there was something that was just off, and it just,
You asked me to change maybe the intros or something, maybe slim them down, and so I added. I was maybe a little too creative. I wanted like I put like sound effects or some kind of filter on it, and you wanted something a little more like cut and dry for social media.
Hmm. I don't remember. I remember. I really don't remember because I don't hold on to things like that, right?
Mhm.
When it didn't work out, because I remember that there was such a tremendous amount of time that had passed, and that there was such a dropping of the ball, that by the time there was some sort of follow up, it had been weeks from what it is that I remember, because this was around the time that
Yeah,
I was getting ready to go on my healing journey. And then from it was
exactly.
either
Yeah.
weeks or months, something along those lines. But by the time, and then it was like, I don't remember that there was a tremendous amount of creativity. Um, I mean, I could pull up. You want me to try to pull up and see right now?
Oh yeah, if you still have them, yeah, let's see. Because
Do you remember
I
if
thought
you
it was really
emailed
cool.
this to me?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
We
let me
went.
take a look and
Maybe
see.
it wasn't like back and forth a few times. It was like once, and you had critiques
Mm,
for me, and then like I said, I think I used your trip as an excuse, and I do that a lot. Like I just tell myself, I talk myself out of things, and I said, well, she's planning on her trip. I'd like to discuss this and that more, and I was just like, forget it. She probably doesn't even want me to bother her or something like that. It was,
mm,
it's not
let's
rational.
see.
Avoidance is what that's called.
Let's see. I'm looking. Let's see. I see that there's a folder here from February. I hold. What's going on with this folder? It says Tina Knowles. Does that sound familiar to you?
Maybe that was the topic it was about.
Okay, here I see something. Hold on. Let's see. Hold on. Let me see. I found something. I'm going to pull it up on the screen. Hold on.
Okay.
Let's see. All right. So here we have something up on the screen. Let's see what this is. Let's see. It's not playing. It's not playing. Let me come off of the screen. Let me see. Hmm. If I can, let me see if I can download this. Let's see. Preview. Let's see. Will it play the preview? It's not playing, Raf. Let me see. Let me download.
Mhm.
It says can't scan file for viruses. Download anyway. Okay, let's download this and see. Let's see. It says can't download file. To download this file, try enabling third-party cookies. Hmm. Interesting. Let me open this in a different browser. Give me one moment. I'm gonna open it in a different
Okay.
browser. Let's see. Hmm, hmm, hmm. Let's see here. Let's see if it'll play anything. Let's
I
see.
think all women are treated.
All right, here. So something is playing. Let's see what this is. Let's see what this. Funny, we're talking about Tina Knowles. It's
How
funny we're
long is the
talking about.
file?
It says that it is 1 minute and 13 seconds, and hold on. It says it's
That
one
might be
minute.
it. I thought it was a little shorter than that though,
I'm looking at
since it
the
was for
thing.
social
It
media.
says 1 minute and 13 seconds. That's what it says. You know. So you don't think
Mhm.
so? How many? This is the only one that I found. So what is it that you want? Is this do you want me to play it? What?
No, you don't have to. I never asked you to. It's
Oh, you never
I thought it'd be
asked me
interesting
to
though if you
play
thought.
it?
No, I never said play it right
Oh,
now.
I
Let's no
thought you
no no. You don't have
oh.
to.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
I was curious though because I have a new laptop now. I don't know if I
Mm.
could find those files myself. They might
Oh,
be in
okay.
maybe Drive or something.
Okay, no, I see it. It's right here. I was getting ready to play it. Let me
Oh,
see.
play
Wait,
it.
wait. Okay, hold
Let's
on.
see. I'm
Mm.
curious.
All right, so here. This is Tanya before the healing journey. Let's see what we have here.
It bad, black, white, or any color, because men are not more into the Bible and
You're black and you decided to call in on my show here today to talk about how women of all colors, you want to all lives matter this conversation? This is not a situation that affects all women equally.
hmm
Out of the 300,000 missing girls, right? 1/3 of them are black. We are murdered at higher rates. We are dying more in
Hmm.
childbirth. This is not an all women's lives matter conversation. This is a conversation that is specifically highlighting what is going on in our community with black women. And you have the nerve as a Nubian womb holder to call me up here on the phone today to talk to me about women of other communities. I know you can't be serious right now.
well, I can talk about the blacks too, black
The
community too.
blacks?
The
Man, better
blacks.
get off me
Oh
phone.
my
Why
God.
do I don't listen. And then she's gonna talk about promoting the Bible when the Bible is a toxic text that has led to the subjugation of women and black people worldwide. Anti-woman text like the Bible. Come on. Why do you all make me do this?
Oh
That
my God, I
wasn't
remember
bad.
that.
That wasn't bad. That wasn't bad. What was it about? Do you remember creating that?
I do and I don't. I think it was around that time because I remember that topic specifically. Um, it was something about what I remember is I had maybe some sound effects or something, and you asked me to take that out. And then the outro, you said that you don't want. I don't remember exactly what it was.
Well, I
It
mean,
could
is
be that.
you can
I
see
thought it would
the
be
outro
shorter.
is a different orientation than the rest of the video. The outro is a
Yeah,
9
that's
by 16 and the rest of it is the 1280 by 7 well, 12 1920 by 1080. So it's not the same orientation. The outro was a smaller orientation. I don't see any feedback in this email, so I wonder what it was that we discussed that I don't remember because I don't see any notes here. It might have been in a different email because this is just the link. But yeah, so I don't even really remember what happened. I just remembered that for me, it was the time. Like so many weeks had passed that I didn't really think that it was. I didn't think that it was a good representation of your work ethic, and then you kept coming up with different excuses for why the date kept pushing back. I don't know if you remember that or not.
I remember after you left on your trip, I didn't follow up with you for a long time. I do remember that. I don't remember too many excuses. I remember telling you, yeah, I was at a party. We were texting each other that week. But after you left, I was just like, and I do this, I tell myself it's been too long. There's no point in following up, and I just give up.
Hmm. Well, let me ask you, what is it that you're going to do differently, Raf?
I have to stop avoidance. I learned recently that it's a form of control to being able to like choose when you leave a situation and just put it out of your mind. It's not. It's an awful way to deal with things, and it's a way to I don't know escape responsibility or not, and you just miss out on possible relationships or things you can learn. And so
Hmm.
I'm only cheating myself when I do that.
Hmm. Yeah, and when I look back on it, I see this video and I see the video through new lens, and I don't think that there's anything wrong with the video besides the outro just being a different orientation and maybe I don't know. I don't see anything wrong with it except it doesn't have it's not in the right orientation to be able to be posted online because it needs to be 9 by 16 and it needs to have
Oh yeah,
the
yeah.
text at
It
the
was not
top and it
ready.
needs to have the text at the bottom. Other than
Hmm,
that,
hmm, yeah. It
you
was just a
know,
mock-up.
yeah.
This
But
is
I
just
rem
us like workshopping.
Yeah, I just remember being so turned off by the constant excuses that I didn't even continue to follow up because it was just like I felt like, if a person is going to do a thing, they're going to do the thing, and that I shouldn't have to harangue them and stay on top
Mhm.
of, like, I felt like we were all grown, and that
Yeah.
we made a business deal, and that the deal wasn't being honored. So I know that I have a tendency to just forget it, let it and forget it, just go about my business and just continue to live life because I can't hold on to those things. You know,
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. It was not a good show of what I can produce, and I really disappointed you. Um, we didn't settle exactly all the details, but I could have communicated way better, and I'm very sorry about that.
yeah, and I'm gonna say this really, and I appreciate you saying that you're sorry. For me, I'm not holding on to anything from that. So I
Mhm.
personally don't need the apology. And I wonder if your apology would best be suited for yourself to really
Mhm.
think about how it is that, for who it is that you choose to be in this life, whether or not you
Mhm.
can find a way to forgive yourself and to do things differently. For me, I feel that the best, oh, I just had to block someone for putting up a link. Don't do that here. That's not, it's inappropriate. The best apology is changed behavior. I still, even up until this moment, had not heard from you, about that. But yeah, so I appreciate that. But in terms of forgiving yourself, what does that look like?
It looks like holding myself accountable, making sure that I catch this behavior bubbling up because it's not just something that comes out of nowhere. You can kind of feel yourself, uh, feel like signs coming on that you are feeling depressed. You're not feeling as energetic or enthusiastic about a certain project or a certain decision you made. And I'm going to try to remember that a promise is important to keep because it's not just it's not just if you don't keep them, it won't just disappoint the other person, but it's also every promise you make is a promise to yourself.
Mm.
And I have to honor myself and love myself just as much as I honor and love the people I share my life with.
Yeah, well, let me ask you that question in terms of loving ourselves. What does it do to
Hmm.
you when you behave in a
Hmm.
manner that is different than how you want to behave? What does that do to you?
I think what it does is it keeps me in the same like stuck places or arrested like developmentally arrested places. It keeps you you know how when you keep your expectations low and then you don't follow through with stuff and then you just tell yourself a person can tell themselves, well, I was never going to do that anyway. It's just like a place of safety instead
Mm,
of reaching out or trying to be uncomfortable so I can learn and I can push myself and test myself.
mm.
It's stunting my growth.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. Well, I appreciate the call.
Thank you,
I
Tonya.
appreciate us, having this conversation because we never got a chance to talk about it. I just came back and just continued on with my life, and I don't know what happened to you. Where have you been?
We've exchanged one or two messages casually, nothing like this, right? But
Mm-hmm.
I'm still in the city. I'm still doing my thing. I'm looking at new career options. I've moved around, and for now, I think finance is calling my name.
Really?
Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm. So you're going to go into the finance field doing what?
Um. Um. What's it called? Financial planning for people, a personal financial planner or certified financial planner.
Really? Do you have a passion
Um.
in that?
I don't. I have. I was originally a business major, so I've studied economics, accounting, macro, micro, all that basic stuff. But I will have to go back and refresh myself uh,
But you said it's not a
with those
passion. Why are
courses.
you doing it if it's not a passion?
I think that well, my passion lies in working with people personally and helping them.
Oh,
I like the connection, and I like seeing uh, like the quick results that my work can do and help people. Um, I also, when it comes to like one-on-one connections, I feel like I understand people quickly, and if I can be financially comfortable, I think I can try to combine all those uh, items into this kind of career.
oh, okay. Well, more power to you. More power to you.
Thank you,
Somebody,
Tonya.
somebody made a comment about why don't I start by accepting your apology? Um, on the other end of, on the receiving end of me communicating with you right now, what did it feel
Hmm.
like for me to say that I really didn't need an apology? What was that like for you?
It made me feel. Oh, sorry, there was an echo. It made me feel like what I uh, just in a word, like powerful. Like it's really powerful to be able to let things go and move on with your life. It's I don't know. It's really I don't know. I really admire that.
Oh, okay. So you didn't feel any type of way about me saying that I didn't need the apology, because I think
Mm-mm,
somebody
no,
may be feeling as if that I pushed your apology away, but it really wasn't pushing it away. It
no,
was
no way,
okay.
no way. It's like you said before. Like you're not here for people's validation. You're not here for a soapbox. You do it because you want to help people out. You do it because you have something to say. And again, an apology, just like a promise, an apology is not like a box to check. It has to be heartfelt because you have to do it with the promise to learn from your mistakes, never do it again, and to forgive yourself as much as you want to be forgiven. If you've already moved on from the situation and in your way forgiven me, that's good enough for me. But it's like you said, I have a lot to think about, and I have to
Mm,
make sure that with self love, I forgive myself. It's the
okay,
only way I
okay,
can learn from the situation and improve.
okay, okay. Well, just as more insight, there
Mhm.
wasn't even really a forgiving of you. I really just took it as information, because you know how they
Mhm.
say when people show you who it is that they are, right? So I'm going to
Yeah.
tell you from my point of view, the you showed me who it is that you were in terms of work. Like we had
Mhm.
a pretty, it was an all right, interactions that we had before that event. But when that
Mhm.
came up, you demonstrated for me who it is that you are in terms of work. And it just wasn't a good fit. Like the whole, I felt like there was a lot of back and forth, like a lot of game, like not really game, like purposeful game, but just like a game being played, even if it's not purposeful, like saying you're going to do something at a certain time that you don't do it, saying that something's going to happen but you know that you're really at a
Mhm.
party, but not having the boundary enough to be like, well, I'm at this event, and setting a firm boundary. So I knew that wherever it was that you were at that time, it just wasn't a good fit for how I do business. So I
Mhm.
had no ill feeling towards you for me to have to quote unquote forgive you. I really didn't kind of feel any
Mhm.
type of way besides, okay, well, this is information. And with this
Mhm.
information, I made my moves according to the information that I received. And one of those moves was just to move on and not harp on it, but just to continue living my life and just continue forward. However, it still sounds like you're in the process of finding yourself, you know, um, and finding where it is that you want to go. And I think that this is why it's so important that when we're dating, right, not
Mhm.
having anything to do with you and us, right, but just us as human beings, that when
Right.
we date and we find a man who is not living in his purpose, that there can be a lot of incongruencies, there can be a lot of inconsistencies that come up because he himself is not on his path. He hasn't figured out who he is. He hasn't figured out where he's going. And I'm
I
sure
agree.
that once you figure out who you are, where you're going, and because how do we uphold a word? How do we show who it is that we are if we don't really know who it is that we are, like who it is that we choose to be?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? If we like, how do we do that if we don't really know who we are? So when so as a man is discovering himself, I can imagine that in
Mhm.
that growing period that there will be a lot of inconsistencies or incongruencies until he figures it out. And then once he gets on his path, that you will be able to, that he'll know who he is, and that he'll be a lot more steady.
Thank you for saying that, Tanya.
Yeah, well, keep going forward. Keep trying new things. I hope that finance is what it is that you need it to be. And if it is not,
And if
then
it's
it'll
not, yeah, exactly.
it'll be something that helps you along the path of where it is that you are choosing to go. Everything helps in some sort of way. As long as it's a curiosity of yours, you
Mhm.
satisfy those curiosities and you get on your path. Like life is made up of the experiences along the way.
Agreed. Yes. Thank you for saying that, Tanya. Because if you were to tell me, well, basically what you're saying is, and I agree with you, I still have a lot of things to figure out. I'm still on my journey, and there's nothing wrong with that. Um, I might have been the best qualified person that night to when you had the call in, but I was just not qualified to take on the responsibilities that I initially took on. And um, there's nothing wrong with that. I may have wasted your time and that was wrong, but um I definitely have learned from this.
Yeah, you know what? I'll say there was a part of me that felt like a lot of it was just really the charisma of it. Like you're a very charismatic person, you're a very good-looking young man.
Oh
You
no. Stop, stop.
yes, you are. You're a good-looking,
No. No.
magnetic young man, and you know that you have charm. And I think what troubled me was that you really, really solidified that the job was yours. And as a result, other people who wanted to do the job were then not able to even come forward because you really cinched it that night. And I was going away on my trip, so I didn't even have the capacity to really come back out and do that video again. Because I remember that video happened sometime around Christmas, because I remember I was in the middle of the Christmas sale. And so if you didn't send me a video until
Ah.
February, because you remember you were at some holiday
No.
parties. So this was before New Year's. This was
Well,
before New
no. I
Year's.
mean, I feel like it all happened that one week. As in, like, I worked on some stuff. I sent you some stuff. You had this is how I remember it. You had some follow up for me, and then I kind of just gave up. And so, if you saw anything from February, that can't be right because by that time, I think I had already given up on the project.
I looked at the email date. The email date was
Hmm.
from February. It's
And
February
do you remember?
20th of this year
Okay,
at
let me see.
11:39 a.m. It was on a Sunday that this email came
Do you
in.
know what it must have been? It must have been my ski trip that I went in the middle of February. So this couldn't have been December. Like I said, this all happened like really condensed. When did you go on your trip?
I don't even know. I think February 6th I went on a trip.
Yeah, I think it was definitely after the new year. Like this all happened all at once. It was like the fresh and fit thing. Then a few weeks later, we had that woman called in from that clip, and then I don't remember. I know it was during the winter though.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. Well, I remember that there was some things going on, but nonetheless. So, Ralph, thank you so much. I appreciate you calling in. It was wonderful to get the chance to touch base with you again. I hope that if this conversation was helpful for you, in the comments, throw up the number 2, because there are some people who don't really know why we have this conversation. But if it was helpful for you, throw up the number 2, and we shall go from there. So, Rolf, I
Thank you so much, Tanya.
appreciate, yes, absolutely, absolutely. I
Thank
appreciate you
you.
taking the time to come out and speaking with me here today. I appreciate
Mhm.
that. Thank you.
Thank you. You have a great night.
You too.
Like the
You
video,
too.
everybody.
I think all
All right. Bye.
Bye.
All right. So, there's a little bit of a delay. There's more than a minute and a half delay between when you hear me and when it shows up on screen because YouTube was acting a little bit funny. So, yeah, what is going on with you? Sunshine says this man is lying. So nonetheless, listen, let's move on from there. Let's move on. 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 So I I am going to take one more phone call because there was the person that said that they wanted to call in. Let me see. I have the missed call. So let me see what the missed call says. It looks like we have a few missed calls. So I'm just going to allow. And so Frances is saying she likes white men, huh? She likes them white men, huh? All right. So see, this is how long it took between when I first said it and now. So that's almost 2 minutes. All right. So there are people who was helped by, and then this Southern troll. You all are so silly. There are people who were helped by the conversation. So that's what it's all about. So thank you so much. I'm glad for your thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad. I'm glad. I'm glad. I'm glad. So, on that note, and Dip is saying Tanya's very graceful, I'll say this. Somebody mentioned Ruiz's book, The Four Agreements, in yesterday's video. And you really can't take a lot of the interactions that you have with other people personally because everybody's going through something that really is so far beyond you and who you are and what's going on with you. And Gold is saying he was low key gaslighting. And you know what? What evidence do you have of that? When a person gaslights, it's deliberate. And I think this is why we have to stop using all of these terms, Why are you all I'm good. I'm gonna listen. I've opened up the screen for you all to put your twos up. Are there any more apples that have come in? Send your cash apples in, and I'm gonna read them on the next break. I'm waiting for the next phone call. So here's the number 323-488-3149. You all listen. You know, listen. You all are turbo. You all are turbo. TRBLE. You're turbo. You're turbo. You're turbo. Like gerbil. All right. So listen, somebody said gas lying. You all are so silly. I believe that he was sincere. I believe he was sincere, and then we're talking about almost a year later, so it's hard to even remember and piece together. And I don't know if he called in to really talk about that, but I think that there was some part of him that did want to discuss it, and so we did, and that's that. All of you who were saying, all of you, oh Lord, Dip is saying this is such a good book. Oh, that's such a good book. Okay, you talking about Don Ruiz? Okay. Yes, yes, yes. The four agreements. Yes, yes, yes. For those of you who know what the four agreements are, you can type them in the comments. You see, as soon as I turn off the phone line, I'm going to just call the people who called in. I'm going to call them back because I missed their call. So I know they want to talk to me. So let me go ahead and call them back and see what they have to say. That's the way, I like it. That's the way, I like it. Tonya, my name. I don't remember what was my game back in the days. Maybe she's no longer available, or he. It's been almost an hour now since we were on that phone call for quite some time.
Your call has been forwarded to.
Well, that person didn't answer. Let's try the next person. Next person. Yeah, people use narcissists, gaslight. Ever since people started trying to educate you folks, you all are seeing it everywhere you go in every interaction. Hello,
Hello.
you're on the air
Hi,
live
Tonya.
with
It's Drea.
Tanya. Hey, what's your name and where you calling in from?
We talked earlier, Tonya. It's Drea.
Oh, you call back?
No. Mm-mm.
Because I missed a phone call. So what's going on?
It's
How?
okay. I like hearing from you again.
Oh, wow. Well, it must, you know what? Well, let me grab this phone call because someone's calling in right now. So, Drea, we love you. Bye.
Love you too. Bye.
All right. You're in the air live with Tanya. What's your name and where you calling from?
Hi, Tonya. This is Karina. I'm from New York.
Hey, we got NYC in the place. Well, I don't know if it's NYC because, New York is a big state.
Yes, it is, and I am in the NYC. Yes, I am.
Okay, okay. Because, I'll be like, oh, New York. And they be like, yay, Albany in the house. And I'll be like, oh, they be like, the
No.
Syracuse, the Syra. And I'll be like, oh, okay. All
Nope,
right.
nope, nope, nope.
Did you know the
Oh dear.
Saratoga water is from New York? There's a place in New York called Saratoga, and we making water up there. Cause I don't know if they let you know it's New York water. I don't know if we really gonna be drinking it. You know what I'm saying?
I have no idea either. You never know what they giving us nowadays.
All right. So Karina, talk to us. So what is your comment here? You're calling in. So you in the hot seat.
Yes, I am in the hot seat. I would say the topic was victim.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the victim mentality.
Yep.
I would say when I was younger, I definitely had a little bit of that going on. Um, when you were young and you crave, interactions with people, you tend to do things out of the kindness of your heart, but the person that you're giving the kindness to is actually just taking advantage of your kindness.
Is that what it
Okay.
is?
And yeah, they are. They admit it later on in life, though. People, once you grow up and you start to like process the things that you have done throughout, before your brain fully develops, you know, you
Mm.
realize like, damn, like you kind of messed up in a situation. You'll be like, damn, if you be like, oh, that's my fault, or like,
Mm-hmm.
nah. Sometimes as a person, you'll be like, oh, that's my fault, when really it's not your fault, it's their fault. You know what I'm saying? In certain situations, it's like you gotta know when it's your fault and when it's not your fault. So, I would say a lot of things that I went through when I was younger, you know, I put myself in a lot of bad situations trying
Mm.
to be friends to people who didn't deserve my kindness. Um,
Mm. What was it
I've
that made
even
you feel
have
that they did deserve it when you decided to do it?
what do you mean? What do you mean?
You said they didn't deserve your kindness, but when you did it, you felt that they did deserve your kindness. What was it that made you feel that they deserved your kindness?
Being really young and not knowing any better. When you're young, like I'm 37 now. You know what I'm saying? So when I was in my late teens and early 20s, I didn't know any better. I was just a genuinely nice person. You know what I'm saying? So me just being kind-hearted and like, having a really pure heart, having no hidden agenda, none of that, like
Mm-hmm.
just doing it out of strictly being a kind-hearted person. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? I wasn't doing it to make them see me any other type of way. I really thought genuinely like people were my friends. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Now, of course, I've come across some
What are some of the
people
things that you're talking about?
like like loaning people money, or going to go pick them up in the middle of the night when their boyfriend is beating their ass. You know what I'm saying? Like just doing things out of
So
being a protective friend.
My
You know what I'm
question for
saying?
you
Just
is when did the victim, the perpetual victim, mentality come about?
In certain situations, I would blame myself for letting myself being taken advantage of in certain situations.
But that's that. Oh, so okay. So the perpetual victim is the person who is always talking about how people have done them wrong, how people have done them dirty. They're always talking about
Hmm.
that. It's a different type
I
of person who is blaming themselves for everything.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. And I went through that phase in my late 20s. I went through that phase of, damn, I'm always, you know, coming in contact with people. They always doing this and that to me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a plus size girl, by the way. So
Okay.
I found out later on in life that people that I thought was my friends was never my friends. Like, they was genuinely like taking advantage of me. They was all talking shit about me. They was all like making fun of me on the low. Like, I was a joke to them, basically. Like, they was all making jokes about me, making like excuses like, oh, they didn't want me to go out with them and stuff like that. Like literally, I had to find this out like later on in life. Like, oh, really? Like, that's what was going on. So this is what. So it's like, at the same time, like I said, I was blaming myself, but at the same time, I had to be like, nah, I was a genuine friend to them. You know what I'm saying? And then for them to come back and say, for like the dirt to finally come out. What's done in the dark always coming up to light. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't gonna come out today or tomorrow. It's gonna come out like years later. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
years
I
later,
I'm I'm
I used to
I'm
be like,
finding
Dad,
I'm finding some red flags in what you're saying, Karina.
come on. So I'm in the high seat already. So tell me what's good.
Yeah, so I'm hearing some red flags in that you're talking about, all these people and they were talking about you behind your back and all this. You had the pure heart, and the story is just too one-sided with you painted as this doe in the woods angel. Not saying that you're not an angel, but you mean to tell me that there was no part of you that had any type of gut instinct, nothing, in all of these interactions for all of these years, that you were just like do 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 do. Oh my goodness, I read Riding Hood. Nothing, Karina.
Later,
Okay,
later. Like, it didn't come until later. Like,
okay,
I'm gonna just be honest with you, because I mean, I've been in a lot of messed up situations. Like, for real, like a lot.
yeah.
And it got to a point for me where I had to leave my home state.
The whole
Okay,
state.
so once my home state, yes, my home state. I'm from New York, but I'm not originally from New York. Okay, so I'm originally from Florida, Jacksonville to be exact. So it was people that I was hanging out with back there that at the time I really genuinely thought that they was my friends. You know what I'm saying? I really was like a good ass friend to them. If they needed me for anything, I was there for them. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real, for real. Um, and then whenever the chips fell for me, like, I had went through some hard times. When I was going through my hard times, that's when I started to really see, like, oh, okay, I see what's going on here. Okay. So a lot of other things started to come out later on. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
Because I stayed friends with one person, okay, out of this group. And I really thought that this person was like my ace, my best friend. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really thought that this person was somebody I could really like lean on. You know what I'm saying?
okay,
And this person is currently going through a bad situation, and they have developed a drinking problem. So this drinking problem has caused them to become very loose at the tongue. So this person started divulging things to me that really opened my eyes up even further. Like I saw the little stuff, but I didn't see the bigger stuff until later. Until this person is drunk, talking to me on the phone, getting mad at me, telling me they not gonna fuck with me no more, this and that. Oh, and I'm not begging nobody to be my friend, so I wasn't on the phone like, okay, that's fine. You don't want to be my friend no more? That's cool. Say no more. You know what I'm saying? So it was
Mhm.
just like, this is why I'm saying, like, a lot of, like, it may not seem like it, but I'm telling you, like, I really got shitted on, you know what I'm saying, by a lot of people from back home. So where now I have my own personal anxiety about connecting with people in a certain way. Like I could be cool with you, but for me to call you my friend, you know what I'm saying? That's a powerful word for me. So I'm not too friendly with people like I used to be. You know what I'm saying? I'm still
Yeah,
a
well, you
very
know
caring,
what? Hold on. I
warm-hearted
wanna
person.
so yeah, but the thing about it is, what are what are the lessons that you learned that has helped you grow so that you can be discerning? I'm finding it a little concerning the way that you're describing these old relationships, but if this is what it is that you're seeing, I am going to give you the benefit of the doubt on that. But I find it a little concerning that there's such a skew in that you are posited in your story as this hapless being who just did not know. You were just so kind-hearted and so doe-eyed, and there were all of these people who were just shitting on you and being so mean to you, and all of
Mhm.
this stuff. I'm not hearing what I would need to hear to know that, what, these were life experiences, you learned from it, you moved on. It To
Yeah.
me,
Yeah.
it sounds like, like you were the victim in these stories.
I kind of was. So you gotta understand, when I was younger, I was a heavy introvert, very shy. Um, just I was a totally different type of person from where I am today. I'm definitely 100% not the same person. I'm not an introvert. I'm not shy. um, I don't. I used to be really quiet. Just kind of like, just kind of like a loner, really. Even though I would hang out with people when I was younger, like I was. Listen, I'm just saying, I was completely different. It really, like, the things that I have been through have like rocked me. You know what I'm saying? It's rocked
Yeah.
me to my core, to where I'm not trustworthy of people. You know what I'm saying? You would have to really build a rapport with me. You know what I'm saying? For me to be able to trust you as a person. You know what I'm saying?
Are you
I'm
are you working
single.
with any psychological professionals?
I have a counselor, yes.
Okay. So
I've been in
I
therapy for about 6 years.
okay. I have you spoken with your therapist about the trust issue and anxiety that you said you're feeling?
Of course. Absolutely.
And what was the final outcome of that? How did you get onto the other side of it? What was it that you
I'm
came to
not there
terms
yet.
with? Okay.
I'm not there yet.
Six
I'm
years?
fully like 6 years, yeah, off and on for about 6 years. Right now, I'm not always the main focus of
Mm-hmm.
my journey in life right now. I have three teenagers right now,
Mm-hmm.
and two of my teenagers are special needs.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes I'm not on the chart dealing with my kids. So I don't have no real support system when it comes to my kids. Their fathers are completely absent. You know, it's just me and my girl. So sometimes I have to take a back seat and just focus on my daughters, and growing them up, and not, and making sure they stay out of harm's way and not doing anything out of control. So
Okay.
it's hard.
Well, you know what?
It's hard.
One of my concerns is, and you know what, I need to do some more examining myself to figure out what it is that I'm not hearing that would give me an indication that you have gotten onto the other side. So you say, you say you have three children, two of them are teenagers and have special needs.
They're all teenagers.
Okay, so you have three teenagers, two are special needs, none of the fathers in the life.
Right.
One of my concerns is that if we do not analyze the past and how it is that we participated in a certain thing. Not that it's our fault, not that we're blaming ourselves, but what it is that we can do differently. What lessons do we glean? How do we learn? How do we create a shift? Because if we don't, then we end up, with one child's father who's not in the picture, then two children's father, then three, and then four. It can go up to eight. I've seen one woman with eight children with none of the fathers
Mm.
present, and
And what do you mean?
she was crying on the internet, and people were like, "Oh, you poor thing, you poor thing." And I was like, after child three or four, you know, when did the self-preservation kick in to be like, you know what, I probably have to do things differently, because life is going to continue
Ooh.
to show us these things that we have to do differently. And one of my concerns when I hear people saying all of the other things that other people have done and really not being at peace with the journey, it makes it seem as if these things are still unhealed and that they're still blaming other people for their experience and their participation. So I really I don't know. I don't know how to call it. I don't know how to call it, but there's something that I'm not hearing that would let me know that,
Okay.
okay, well, Karina has lived, Karina has learned, Karina has healed.
Okay. I see where you're coming from. I really do. And, you know, that's a hard one. That's a real hard one. Um, I would honestly say that I have grown up a lot as a person.
Mhm.
Um, Sometimes I just stick to what's on the priority list.
Mhm.
And I wouldn't say that like I'm not walking around blaming anybody. I just know that when I look back at it, I do wish I would have had a little bit more of a guidance. Um, I didn't. I don't. I didn't. I didn't have that type of structured upbringing as a kid. I can definitely say that. My mom, she wasn't the most attentive mother. She was too busy trying to be my father to be my mom. So um,
Can I
that was
pause you
kind of
right
a
there? Can I pause you right there? Because this is what I'm hearing again. I'm hearing about your mother. I'm hearing about your friends. I'm hearing about XYZ. What I'm not, and then when you speak about from your own perspective, you still talk about being in a place of wound, a place of damage, a place of not being repaired. And these are the things that I'm hearing, and these are the red flags for me when I'm listening to a person, because what I want to hear is, I want to hear that you're on the other side of it. I want to hear that this has healed, that you have healed, that you're not still in a trauma response, that you've done the work, that you have invested in this healing. The counselor that you have, is this person a trained psychological professional, licensed?
yes,
Okay. And so one of the things, so I know that, each session is 45 minutes or an hour or whatnot, but you have to take care of mama. Mama has to heal her issues, because when we start talking about childhood, listen, we come into these lives, nobody's parent was perfect, right? And
right,
how do we navigate through and become complete whole beings? How do we come onto the other side of the childhood trauma? Because nobody gets out of childhood unscathed. We all have trauma from
of course we
childhood,
don't.
but how do we then use what it is that we have experienced to create that as a part of our journey, not in our brokenness, but in our wholeness?
Ooh, right. I I understand that. I understand what you're trying to say. At the same time, I take everything in life as an example or a lesson. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we have some people go through things to show you what not to do or what to be. So I took a lot of things from growing up to say, okay, these things didn't work. These things made damage. Okay.
Mhm.
Being involved with friends that don't really care about your well being, that's not your friend. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Being involved with people who don't care about you. You know what I'm saying? Just like, I said earlier in one of the comments, like, everybody in life has use. You know what I'm saying? Everybody in your life as a friend or whoever it is has a use, a coworker, whatever it is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's about what you're using these people for.
Right, but
Are
hold
you
on. But
doing
hold
it? Are
on.
you out of genuineness
Right. I
or
don't I
not?
don't I
You
I
know?
I don't want you to agree with what it is that I'm saying. Listen, hear this, right? You talk about not being able to trust people, that you have, anxiety as a result of these relationships from when you were younger, right?
Mhm.
What I'm not hearing is what characteristics of people did you learn were the characteristics that you could not trust? So, what behaviors did these people exhibit that if you see similar behaviors that you know from past experience? So, it's not that I can't trust people, that there are certain behaviors, certain gut feelings, certain something that happens. What is it
Mhm.
that happens? What is it that a person shows? How does a person show up so that I say, "Oh, these are the things that I know are
Oh,
warning signs or red flags," so that these
absolutely.
types of
A red
people.
flag. Read them.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think at the age that I am now, I definitely have paid attention to cues. Um, I do have a heightened sense in a way that I've had to learn. I had to learn it the hard way. I really did. I had to learn it the hard way. But from those experiences, I've definitely have paid attention to how people move and maneuver. And I live in New York City, so there's a lot of people that's not, this is cameras on every other block. You know what I'm saying? So there's always somebody trying to do something to you or take something from you. You know what I'm saying? In a way. And it may seem like, oh, really, like if you're a New Yorker, you kind of understand. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Nobody's hands is, completely clean. You're not always going to run into the best kind of people living in this city. You know what I'm saying? Without like trying to get to know them and vet them as a person. So, I just had to learn
Okay, so
how to
then
deal with people.
what were the characteristics about the people who were not your friend that you learned were characteristics that could not be trusted because you put out a blanket statement. You don't have friends, you don't use the word friend, you stay away from people because these there were some people from your past that you felt shat on you and did you dirty. But what were the things that you learned? What were the characteristics that you picked up on so that you're like it's not blanket, I can't trust people. What are the characteristics that you learned that you could not trust?
I would say people just kind of being sneaky is one. People who always, asking you for stuff.
Okay.
Um, People who don't, I wouldn't say call you and, be nosy in your business, but just someone, people who don't want to spend time with you.
Uh-huh.
People who, when you're having a conversation, they're really not trying to hear you. Um,
Okay.
People who, when you are having a conversation, they tend to want to just quickly throw you under the bus. If you can understand
Okay.
what I'm trying to say with that one,
Yeah. Mhm.
like they just don't want to. They don't want to hear you. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
They find they always want to say, "Oh, you're boring. You're this and that." Like the way that they talk to you, the way that
Right.
they treat you. You know what I'm saying? They don't celebrate you. They're not reciprocating certain behaviors towards you.
Yes.
You can be
Mhm.
doing something for this person and being genuine with it, but they're not
Mhm.
reciprocating it back towards
Yes.
you. They're not. they're not treating you as a person. They talk
Yes.
they talk down. They talk down to
Yes.
you. And a lot of New
Yes,
Yorkers feel like,
Karina.
oh, that's love. That's
Oh,
love. If
I don't
I'm
know
talking
about
to
all
you
of
like
that
that,
now.
that's love.
But
I
let's
be
but
like,
let's
nah.
get back to the lessons though. See, now there is the difference right there. So the issue is not that, so there are two different issues happening simultaneously. There were some people in your life who were not a good fit, and you were too young and naive to not know what that good fit was not. But as you grew
Absolutely.
through that relationship and those relationships, you have learned now what are some of the signs that you need to look out for. And some of those are people who throw you under the bus first opportunity they get, people who don't want to spend time with you, people who are shady, people who are always asking you for things, but when it's time for you to need something, they're nowhere around. So these are the characteristics, so that now when you're navigating and you start meeting people, when you see people who have like characteristics, right? Because you're still
Right.
a good, pure-hearted person. We're all at the very base of everything. We're all doing the very best that we can. They were doing the best that they could based on who it is that they are and what it is that they know as well, and what it is that they've experienced, and how it is, who knows what type of environment they were raised in, that they felt that that type of behavior was normal, right? So everybody's always doing the
Right.
very best that they can. However, now you are at a point in your life in your 30s where you are able to recognize. But it's still, when we first started this conversation, it sounded like there was a blanket distrust of people, but it's not people that need to be distrusted, it's you that need to be trusted. You need to trust
Mhm.
yourself and your instincts, your intuition,
Oh,
and the
I
things
do.
that you have learned about
I
people.
do. Absolutely.
All
And can
right.
I just say this real quick? Because
Yeah, mom.
I think I just caught it from what it was when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
In a way, I would say that in a way that the people that I associated with, I felt sorry for them. I think that's the true bottom of what I connected myself to, because I knew how much of a good person I was and how caring it was. I just had that in me to always want to be there to help people. You know what I'm saying? So I would say definitely when I was younger, I felt sorry. Like I was like trying to be someone good in their life. You know what I'm
Yeah, but
saying?
you know
Because
what?
a lot of people I grew up around.
But the thing is, here's the thing, and I hate to cut you off. I'm sorry. I just have to stop you right there, because we cannot be good to people at the point that is a detriment to us. That is not self-loving.
That's true.
So
That's
it's like
true.
at some point when we are quote unquote being good to people, if we are at the same time doing bad by ourselves or doing bad to us as a result, then we're not living up to the full bargain of what a self-loving person is. So it's like, okay,
Absolutely.
so you're saying that you're feeling sorry for these people, but simultaneously the amount of care that you have to have for yourself so that you don't put yourself in a position where you are feeling sorry for people and trying to help people and hurting yourself.
Right. So basically, I hurt myself in those processes. So yeah, I definitely started to see more of that, and therapy has helped.
Yeah,
It has.
yeah.
It's helped me growing up a lot into understanding the kind of person that I am. Because I definitely don't want to lose who I am in the
Mm-hmm.
core of me
Yeah.
because of other people. You know what I'm saying? Even though in a way I tend to be not that I tend to be, but I was starting to grow very apathetic
Mm,
towards people.
mm.
I wasn't even overwhelmed. I was very overwhelmed, underwhelmed
Mm.
with
Okay.
dealing with people for a long time.
Got you.
So people would come always with their sob stories and want to, pour into me. And I'm like, listen, man, I don't got time for that. Go see a therapist.
Got you.
Because
Got
I
you.
don't want. I honestly, in some ways, it's like I don't want to hear it. Because
Well, you know
once you
what?
really sit down and talk to people,
And
it's
you
like, damn, bro.
and you know what? And I'll tell you this. Once we start taking responsibility for our lives, we then have standard of allowing people to take responsibility for their lives. And we are able to set those boundaries because I had an associate who would call me up to complain about his family and all of this other stuff. And I had to tell him that this was not, it
No.
didn't honor our friendship. I said,
Mhm.
listen, you are using me
Right.
for unqualified psychological advice, and I need you to take care of yourself by getting yourself therapy so that when you and I come together, that our interactions can be a pure friendship, and not some blurred lines of me being an unqualified, unasked, solicited therapist for you. So I had to set
Absolutely.
that boundary. And when we self-evaluate and when we hold ourselves accountable, we are then in turn able to hold other people accountable. But while we are in our victim energy, right? We allow people to be in their victim energy. And this is part of the reason that
Right.
when you were talking about what it is that you were talking, it doesn't resonate because I know that you have to hold yourself accountable. As pure hearted as you were, you still have to hold yourself accountable for the things that you participated in, even in ignorance.
Right.
And not hold yourself accountable with blame, but say, you know what? I participated in this. I didn't know better. I know better now. I forgive my old self. I forgive all of that. I release it. But you're still in the mire. You're still in the mire. But keep working on it. I appreciate you calling in. Thank you so much, Karima or Karina?
Karina.
Karina. All right. Thank you so much, Karina. Thank you.
Thank you for hearing me out. Bye.
Yeah, thank you for calling in. You all make the show. Thank you.
Bye.
All right. So I appreciate each and every one of you for coming out. These are long broadcasts that we're doing, and the people who watch these broadcasts and who are on them, I know that you all are on the broadcast because you're benefiting in some sort of way. And if these videos can be of benefit, let me check the apples one last time. Okay, there's some apples that have come in. Oh, they're not refreshing on the screen. Let me see. Let me check my other phone. All right. So listen, I appreciate each and every one of you for coming in. Thank you to the brave people who called in. And please understand, I only know what it is that you tell me. I only know of you what it is that I interact with. And I can only repeat back to you what it is that I'm hearing and do my very best to assist you on your journey. Please know that I appreciate the callers. I appreciate you all calling in and know that I am doing what it is that I know how to with my training as a life coach, as a certified clinical hypnotherapist, and the things that I've learned along my journey to be able to assist you. So, God is saying interesting. So, both parties feeling victims to each other. I'm not really sure what the person is saying. But you know what? And then this is the crazy part, that in the same way that you're feeling a victim to somebody else's actions, other people are feeling a victim to yours in that very same interaction. Who is right? Who is wrong? Who is right? Who is wrong? All I know is that our self-healing is for us. So if we take the time to evaluate ourselves and figure out what we can do differently, then we just go from there. You know what I mean? We go from there. And we do what it is that we need to do for our own lives, because at the end of the day, the truth lays somewhere in the middle. You know what I mean? The truth is somewhere in the middle. It's not your version, their version. It's somewhere in the middle. And so there's work that we can all do, all of us. All right. So I will see you all in the next video. Tonya TKO, and I'm out. If you send me an apple after I'm off air, I will check it after I'm off air. All right. I will see you all in the next video. Peace. Make sure that you join the text notification squad. Oh, we didn't do this SLL for today's video, but there's a long delay. So by the time I say it and the time that you all hear it, it's going to be more than a minute and a half. So what is the self-love lesson that you learned from today's video? What is the self-love lesson that I learned from today's video? I would say, while I'm waiting for you all to type out your SLL, I'll give mine since there is a delay. My self-love lesson from today's video that I learned is to really listen to your intuition, listen to your instincts when hearing a person talk about their past. And if something is not sounding right to you, bring it up to them. But people have to have the awareness to be able to self analyze. And if they don't, there's really not much that you can do. There's really not much that you can do. You know what I'm saying? There's not much that you can do because people have to be able to do their own work. They have to be able to do their own work. And Karina says, I learned to move on. Yes. Thank you for your public spirited altitude or attitude and trying to bring the healing to YouTube. You all are welcome. Thank you. I appreciate you all. Type your self love lessons out. Let's see these self love lessons. SLL. I am tired. I'm hungry. I'm glad that we did this video. I'm happy to be here. I'll see you all later, but type your SLLs before you go. Self love lessons. One of the self love lessons that I'm going to be real with you. One of the self love lessons that I learned from today's video is to forget the algorithm, forget all of these things that people try to manipulate content creators into doing, and to really create the content that fills my soul. Because what good is getting hundreds of thousands of views if you're not doing what feeds you, if you're being depleted? So for me, self-loving is creating content like this, because this type of content feeds me. I'm tired right now. I'm hungry, but I feel fed in my spirit. I got to talk to some people. We got to really learn, and we got to make a difference in each other's lives. So my self-loving lesson for today's video is to buck the system and to look. If you all know people that may benefit from videos like mine, share the word, share the video with somebody. I know that they're long. If there's a particular part of the video that you feel was particularly helpful, cut that part out, re-upload it on social media, tag me in it, because it's important. You know, when I watch the videos, I don't really know what it is that you all need to talk about, you know, or hear. So when you post those clips, I know what's on your mind. SLL, be in tune with your star player cat voice. Okay. We all at some point have to take accountability for our own involvement in situations. Yes. Sometimes we have to let things go and start anew. Don't bring old issues with other old friends into your new friendships. Yes, 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 yes. Listening to someone when they're speaking. Keep looking for answers and listening to the Holy Spirit within. Access your part during interactions and heal from it. Don't always expect empathy from others. Let's see. Accept the role you play in every situation you find yourself in with others. Know your value. Drop out of victim Olympics and don't allow myself or others to play victim. I'm using this title the next time someone tries to have oppression Olympics with me. Oh, Lord, have mercy. Thank you all so much. Don't continue the cycle of victimhood. I appreciate that. D-Spend, you out here early in these streets. We don't see your comments till the middle of the night, but you up early, my dear. You up early. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome. D, why don't you get yourself, Spendrella, get yourself on the notification squad. You can join the text notification squad for $1.99 a month, or you can get a free notification on what's the Telegram. All right. And so the links are in the description for the text notification squad as well as Telegram. And let me check one last time. And I will see you all. Look, the holiday season's just passed, so I know people are in different states. I appreciate you all showing up and being here. I appreciate that. So listen, I will see you all in the next video. Let me go eat. And another thing that I realized from this video is, seeing old videos of myself, right? Like seeing old videos of myself, like the one that I pulled up, like the one I pulled up, right?
I think
Where,
all women are
so in this video, right, I'll show it to you all. I'm actually wearing the same shirt that I have on in this video, right? But I I I just the my look is different. Thank God I was able to get some sun this year. Look how pallid I look. My Lord, my poor face. My poor face. But yeah, but my cheeks were so full. I didn't even realize that they were so full before, cuz that's just how I had grown to know myself. And one of the self-love lessons that I learned is to just continue improving. There's nothing wrong with you the way that you are right now. However, there can be things that you can do to better yourself. And I was able to, over the course of this past year, to continue to improve on my health. I look healthier. I look more vibrant. I feel better. I'm stronger. I'm happier. I was happy then. I am happier now. I love being able to grow and age and be able to get stronger as I age instead of deteriorating. I feel like I'm on the right path. I feel like I'm on the path that is taking me to where it is that I want to go into a health-filled older life. So Kimone says her mind is already in 2023. I feel you, dear. I feel you. I feel you. I feel you. So yes, so this is another self-love lesson that I learned in today's video is to I have to check myself because sometimes when I see older videos, I'm like, how could I not have seen? How could I not have seen how much weight I was holding? I just did not realize how much weight I was holding. And one of the things that I have to realize in my self-love journey is to realize that there can be things that you don't see right now. But when you create that shift, you'll be able to look back and be like, oh, yeah, wow. But just you have to do the work. You have to continue to strengthen yourself. You have to continue with the healing. And then you can look back and be like, oh, wow, I was a different person then. But having the forgiveness, the self love to be able to be like, you know what? I love myself then. I love myself now. I'm not going to ridicule myself for being who it is that I was then. You know what I mean? The name of that video says Tina Knowles Tone Deaf Docu is Blackmail Worship. That's the name of the video. Let me see if I can find it inside of the thing. Inside of my, all you have to do is type Tina Knowles and type. Let me see if I go to YouTube, right? Let me go to youtube.com. Let's take a look and see what we find when we type up Tonya TKO and Tina Knowles. All right. So this is the video right here, Tonya TKO and Tina Knowles. Let's see what it says here. Because the moment that anybody says anything that is less, any moment less. Ooh-wee, I was going in on that video. I was going in. Let me see when the date of this was to help you all out. Where's the description part? Okay, show more. All right, so it says here, right? Here we go. So this video is from February of this year, and it is my face. My face. Oh my gracious. I was going off. I was going off. But yeah, listen, take care of yourself out there. Take care of yourself out there. Take care of yourself. So yeah, so just search for Tonya TKO and Tina Knowles, and you'll be able to find that video. Man, I'll be making some faces. Woo. My face is so full. I look like I was eating good. And I was. Can you get any profit from that text notification? If it goes to you, then I would, or maybe just cash app you that monthly and get Telegram. The text notification squad is more than just a notification squad. So do I get profit from that? I don't do the text notification squad for profit. If I did it for profit, I would be charging more per month. I do the text notification squad to make sure that people get the text notification, because to me that's worth any type that I don't that's worth the quote unquote profit. So it's expensive behind the scenes to have the systems that connect together to get the number in there so that it connects to my website, the payment processor, the site that connects the apps together and triggers for the text to be able to go out. You know, so but the gem of the text notification squad is that we meet behind the scenes. We have a hangout on Telegram where we talk behind the scenes, and I'm able to come out and and touch base with you all, and see how you all are doing, and sometimes you all send me stories in there, etc. And then we meet behind the scenes. We have accountability parties and all types of stuff. So we do a lot of different things behind the scenes. That is the gem of the text notification squad. So there is no middle person, if you're wondering about whether or not there's some other platform that is taking half of the money. No, that the money from the text notification squad really goes to pay for the text. And so I my my business model is not to make money from the text notification squad. My business model is really to be able to create. So when I sell the vitamin E, that helps me be able to, the vitamin E I make a profit from. When I sold the makeup packs last year, and I have 2 packs this year which I have not announced, but I need to announce it because I have 2 packs that I will sell, because we're going to do a makeup party again in the beginning of this coming year. But the vitamin E and the books that I sell, the books, very low profit margin on that. But what I truly, truly, truly want to do is I want to create seminars and retreats and those types of things, because my passion is in helping people. My passion is in assisting people on their journey. So I'm not really concerned about, like, this is why, like, I see some content creators. I saw one content creator who was like, I ain't playing the video until y'all put some money in these cash apps. I ain't playing the video till these cash apps start coming in. And I can't be that type of person. I can't be that type of person. The Cash App is not my business model. Like, that is, Cash Apps assist in the moment. Like, I love receiving the apples, because the apples are a fortified way that a person, shows that they have received something and want to give, right? But quiet is kept, like, the Cash App that I get, I don't even spend the money. I put it in, I buy Bitcoin with it, and I just leave it on the account. Like, that Cash App is not my business model. Like, my business model is creating a way for people to be able to help themselves. What I would really like to do, and I've been thinking about this a lot lately, is I would really like to be able to create more MP3s for people to be able to go on these hypnotherapeutic journeys. Like, the more I listen to people, like, these phone calls really help me with figuring out what are some of the changes and shifts that people need. Talking with people on the text notification squad behind the scenes helps me realize what people are dealing with, what people are struggling with. Like, when I was talking to that young lady earlier today on the phone call, and she was telling me about how she was, in this victim mode, and how she would do things for people. The only way for me to learn about these things is from talking to people, because I'm a middle child. So I don't have those desires to be like, oh, let me hurt myself, because the older siblings and the younger siblings were all taking care of them. So I was on my own. I was in the middle on my own. And so I had to look out for myself. And so I there's because I have younger siblings, right? There's a small part of me that likes to take care of people, but my younger siblings were so vicious. Were so vicious that that I don't. They were so vicious that I don't really have much of that. Let me hurt myself to protect you feeling on the inside. A lot of YouTubers do that. It's to me it's cringe, but people respond to that when you do that. The cash apps start pouring in, but I just I can't be that type of person. It just doesn't resonate with me. I heard an apple come in, so I'll check that. Okay, so I see that, right? So yeah, I personally I don't want my business model because you see what happens is Cash App, once the Cash App is gone, it's gone. Once the Cash App comes in, it evaporates. It That is not a business model because if something happens to me, if I'm not able to stand up here and be like, get them apples there. If you can't do that, then no apples come in. Where does your money come from? If you break your leg and you're sitting up in the hospital, what is the business model? You know what I mean? If I have books and MP3s that people can use and refer other people to, then that is a way that even if I can't create content, the content that is there, the intellectual property that is there, the what do you call that? The digital media? I forget what it's called. I forget what it's called, but that type of stuff, right? When it's there, I'm able to allow people to help themselves and I'm able to receive, profit in tandem. But other than that, I don't want my business model to be dependent on people having to contribute monthly or I don't want my business model to be gift cash donations. Like if I'm going to do business with a person, I want the business to be one in which we have an established relationship in which if these are the things that this is how I can help you and this is how you can help me and we come together with our agreement and then we go from there. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But the thing is, that could be part of my issue too, because I remember for the longest time, and this is how I ended up living in my car. I ended up living in my car because I didn't really see how to make money intangibly. Like if it was a tangible product, I felt that the tangible product had merit. But I do deserve to be paid for my video work. I deserve to be paid for this, even though I don't get paid really, especially for long videos like this and videos that are about help and healing. I don't get paid for these videos, but I still do them. And I spent 3.5 hours of my life doing this video and my training and life coaching and all of these other things to interact with people. And I know that I deserve to get paid for it. Um, I know I deserve to get paid for it. However, I just at this moment, I haven't done the things that I need to do to set up a way to be able to create classes and I need to do that. I need to do that. I need to take responsibility for the things that I have not done. And I need to feel the pain of not having it done and get it done because of that. Remember, I was working on this card game. I never finished the card game, right? So there are ideas that I have. And another part of it is also finding a balance between what it is that you want to do and being present and forgiving enough with yourself to forgive yourself for not having done them. You know what I mean? Like, I did not finish the game, but what is it that I'm going to do? How do I create, how do I honor myself, love myself, forgive myself, and be able to live within my truth? You know what I mean? So those are the things that I need to do. And I just need to be on my grind. I've experienced some loss this year this hasn't been an easy year for me. And so I'm just really at this point, I'm really, really, really living, and I'm really living at this point. You know, part of the reason that I do these videos is because it's my way of giving back. You know what I mean? And I after my living in my car situation, I was able to stack enough money that I can make videos like this. After I changed my mentality about money and I came back into content creating, I was able to create income from the sale of the books and making videos and all of that other stuff, and being a part and feeding the algorithm in the ways that I fed the algorithm for years. And so I was able to pour into that machine enough so that I can make a 3-hour video and not have to worry about cash apps, not have to be desperate for people to pay in and all this other stuff. But now that I am here, where do I go from here? How do I then now get to the next step? Now that I'm comfortable financially, now that I don't have to make videos that I don't choose to make, how do I go on the next phase? And so you all know that I don't know if you all know that I've been applying to culinary school to get a culinary certificate in plant-based meals and how to create, because I want to work on a cookbook for you all and things of that nature. But I'm kind of at an impasse because I know that when I go on this next healing journey, they're going to cut salt, oil, and sugar out of my diet. And then once I go into culinary school, those things are going to come right back into my diet. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of at an impasse. So I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And Spendrella is saying, I get it. Smart cookie with an independent reciprocal business model. I respect it. You are willing to receive, but just don't depend on it. You have multiple services, products, more than one basket. Yeah, absolutely. And so I need to be, honestly, in terms of business, I need to be a little bit further on my grind. But the next stage of my life that I'm going into, and I'll talk with you all on the text notification squad about this behind the scenes, because there's a reason that I am getting myself healthy behind the scenes. There's a reason, because my next journey, I'll talk with you all about that behind the scenes. My next journey, my next journey is whatever. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. But I'm going into my next phase of life, you know. So you all will see. 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 I mean, I've casually mentioned a little bit of it, but not. We'll talk about it. Text notification squad. I will see you all in the next video. Thank you all so much. I will see you all. All right. Oh wait, I'm sorry. We have a text that has come in. Let me get this up here. You hear it? Okay. All right. Let me grab these. Let me grab these. Let me grab these. Let me grab these. All right. Zakia or Zakia sends $25 and says, when are you doing the wellness retreat? I have to start making some phone calls because we're going to be doing it 2023. But I know where I want to do it. I want to do it in the mountains. So like when I was displaced, there was this mountainous area that I was in that I found a great deal of healing in. And so I want to do it there. So I have to make some phone calls and get it secured. And yes, I am. Success says, gratitude for kind spirit to help the public. Thank you very much. Yes, you deserve to get paid. You can do it. Yay, you're so sweet. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, D-Spin has sent me $5. It says, making it before midnight plus sleeping last night. Hey, you know what? I do have a relaxed MP3 if people are having trouble sleeping. I need to get my MP3s back up on my website. I had to take them down because of Klarna last year. But yes, so thank you. I appreciate the love. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I need to really sit down. And the thing is, I have a business coach. I just emotionally this year was just a year for me. It was something else. It was something. Somebody saying in high school they were going to give me a scholarship to culinary school up in Michigan, but I turned it down. Wish I didn't. Paula, what? Oh my goodness, are you serious? Yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh goodness gracious, 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 gracious. Listen, I will see you all in the next video. You all are speculating now. You all are speculating, and I'm not going to let you speculate. I'm not going to let you speculate on me. Let me just give my hearts to the text notif. Oh, what did that send you? Was that it was like a moon pie face. I thought it was a heart. I don't know what that was. I appreciate you all. Listen, you know what? Speaking of love being in the air, I have listen. Let's talk a little bit later. I remember. Listen. We'll talk. You all are doing too much. You're doing too much. You're making my face hurt. I'm getting out of here. Get away from me, all of you. Leave me alone. Leave me. I'm getting off this broadcast. Get away. I'm taking your comments off the screen. You all are doing too much. No speculaciones. No speculaciones. I will see you all in the next video. Thank you all so much for coming out. Bye, everybody. Bye. 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 Okay, how do I get out of here? I don't know what I'm doing. All right. Bye, everybody. I'll let you all say bye. Bye.